Hello. I'm back with PTN. Sorry, my brain rot's not on yet. I haven't done everything in the event that I could. I'll become normal again soon, maybe. Okay, but
Feeling tired? Well, your body is still human after all. It has far too many obvious flaws.
okay. Okay, wife, I'm sorry. So, I want to do her Mirage and Poppy's Interrogation. I put the voices in English. I don't have to read everything. Downloaded the English voiceover just for this. That's okay. I want to know her lore. Now I know her event, her internal nightmare story, but I also want to know her backstory as well, so I don't know how much is gonna be voiced, but I would assume characters? Or maybe nothing's voiced. Or I don't know, honestly. Do they have real people in there? Who edited the real people into this hall? Okay, it's not voiced. I mean, that's fine. If I put it in Chinese, is it gonna be voiced? Is this where I test the theory? Is stuff voiced? Well, either way, it's fine. The English voices for the future, in case anything comes up again. I want to know how she got freaky though, so I have to read. I'm truly honored. Oh, I already can't read. I'm truly honored to receive this award. Allow me to express my sincerest thanks to the selection committee. I'm also deeply grateful to the people who have supported and inspired me on my academic journey. First, my family. Without their trust and support, I could not have dedicated myself so completely to my research. I feel their encouragement wherever I am. Their belief in me has been a constant source of motivation. A respectable middle-aged couple applauds in the crowd, barely concealing their excitement as they bask in the envious stare Shin has brought them. Their eyes are filled with smug pride and self-satisfaction, threatening to drown her. Shin stands in the study with her arms at her sides. The wood grain of the bookcases wraps into countless shrewd, calculating eyes, watching and appraising her from every angle, just like how her parents assess any family assets. I never expected Professor Wright to remember you, let alone write a recommendation letter. Choosing oceanography was the right move. It's obscure, challenging, but easy to make a name for yourself. You must seize this opportunity, Shin. That's right. Professor Wright knows better than anyone how to produce results in this field. With this guidance, you will join the review committee or academy yourself one day. I'm so proud of you. Just stick with him and you'll never have to worry about funding or awards. I heard his students secured 2 Class A projects last year. Who even cares what he's studying? Funding is power. What you need to learn is method, Shin. That's the real secret to a career in research and academia. In just a few years, you'll become the symbol of our branch, the greatest pride of the family. Shin observes her parents with cold detachment. The estranged couple now shares the same rapturous expression, their eyes dreamy, as if seeing through their daughter a grand banquet hall teeming with influential guests. Is this gaudy vision of fame and fortune truly more intoxicating than the pursuit of unfathomable mysteries and truths in the ocean depths? Of course, father, mother. I'm looking forward to studying under Professor Wright and continuing my research. And of course, the person I wish to thank most is my mentor, Professor Wright. It was his wisdom that guided me into the fascinating world of marine science and helped me find my way whenever I felt lost. In the front row, Professor Wright gives a small, satisfied nod. A soft light glimmers in his eyes as if moved by the praise, but the gleam is too shallow to hide the greed and arrogance lurking beneath. I see. But she's doing it for passion, obviously. Behind the elderly professor hangs a biological specimen, collected on his last expedition before the perishing star arrived. Set in a glass case, it resembles a twisted pupil that has absorbed the ocean itself, gazing at Shin from its fathomless depths. I'm putting you on the next expedition. Don't worry, there won't be short-sighted opportunists aboard, just seasoned veterans. The route is conservative, steering clear of the unusual active zones. Everyone knows we're going to sea for publications, not adventure. Some young scholars are too ambitious. They're fascinated with evolution and the unknown, always chasing some grand discovery. But once you've been in academia long enough, you realize that the worst return on investment. It's much easier to produce results by building on what's already known. You are my brightest, most talented student, Shin. Remember what I've told you. When you're back, I'll guide you through a paper. You'll be the second author. I trust you'll master this approach quickly. The eyes of the scholar, so long estranged from the sea, are brimming with cowardice and conceit. He no longer sees the ocean. Of course, Professor. I'm sure the final data will validate your theories. After all, you're the foremost authority on oceanography. You understand the changing seas better than anyone. Glazing him. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my family tutor, who first set me on this path. Her guidance helped me build a solid foundation in the field, and her vision always fixed on the horizon showed me the infinite possibilities within the ocean. A ripple of confused whispers spreads through the audience, but Shin seems not to hear it. The gaze shifts for a moment to the side of the podium, as if a woman with a faint smile was standing there. The woman before her loses her composure for only a second before a familiar smile returns, the smile of gentle, persevering resilience forged in the fires of endless setbacks. Her eyes are bright and warm, like sunlight penetrating the deep sea, guiding newborn creatures breaking free from their shells. Your answer in the competition is quite interesting. I want to see her though. Like, I can see she has a sprite. Show me her face. Please. I doubt the examiner intended it, but the question does relate to what you asked before. Why do deep-sea creatures follow such unique evolutionary paths? Your thinking is on the right track. The poles in ocean trenches, places no one dares to go, are life's most extreme laboratories. The more dangerous the place, the more likely it is to hold possibilities that evolution has never shown us before. Most people are afraid, so they shrink from it. But you're different, Shin. I don't see fear or dread in your eyes, only curiosity and excitement. I believe that if anyone is ever to set foot in those unknown territories and witness the ultimate form of evolution, it would be you. The girl's gaze shifts from the unfamiliar application form in front of her and settles on the woman's face. When their eyes meet, Shin feels as though her own eyes have been set ablaze by the light in her tutor's gaze. Then she sees her teacher smile softly. But for that very reason, you have to be smarter about how you live, how you answer. Shin, sometimes this isn't about fitting in. It's about surviving so you can keep moving forward, so you can see what lies ahead. Research demands the courage to challenge and explore, but until you've climbed high enough, you have to know when you keep quiet. You don't want to end up like me, treated like I don't exist, funding pulled, papers erased, and my name struck from every conference list. Desire fuels desire. Desire is traded for desire. Desire begets desire. Countless people have tried to bait Shin with the desires she's supposed to have to make her a pawn for their own ambitions. She was the only one who showed Shin that without fame or fortune, without praise or applause, one could have such ardently burning eyes just by gazing upon and pursuing the possibilities the rest of the world had forgotten. I understand. I'll work hard until I can witness the end of evolution and the possibilities of life. I'll be good. She worked steadily, step by step, toward her promise and aspiration, but the eyes that had shown her the possibilities of truth were buried long ago in an obituary, lost in a reckless and insane oceanographic expedition never to return. Even her name was gradually replaced by the word lunatic, reaching Shin's ears from time to time. The papers displayed on the screen are Shin's highly acclaimed academic works, yet they're filled with conservative research methods and results. How absurd. The cycle of desire called society cannot give Shin what she truly wants. Marine life. I like her uniform though. Maybe that's just her outfit. Maybe it hasn't anything to do with the uniform or the uni. Marine life is changing at an unprecedented pace. At least 5 populations under observation are exhibiting mating and hunting behaviors that don't match our expectations. It's like they're mutating, evolving, turning into entirely new life forms. Deep-sea species, in particular ancient, isolated, and resistant to change, are the farthest removed from human perception and imagination. But our technology has been compromised by the perishing star. Established methods are no longer reliable, and the ocean grows more dangerous every day. Perhaps one day we'll lose our ability to explore the ocean's forbidden zones altogether. Before that happens, we should at least try to understand the nascent biological order, rather than hiding in a bubble, fighting over a shrinking pie. After all, when that day comes, who knows if humanity will still be at the top of the food chain? Shin rips the draft of her speech from the notepad and crumples it into a ball, tosses it into a nearby trash can, where it rolls around with a hollow echo. Then again, are we now still the masters of this world, of the biosphere, the highest form of life? No one knows. Shin only knows that in an academic world unwilling to face radical change, her own yearning makes her feel as empty and restless as a deep-sea predator trapped in a fish tank, just as she knows she can never ever say these words in an acceptance speech. That concludes my speech. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Miss Shin. That wonderful speech that brings us to the end of today's awards ceremony. Please join us in the banquet hall to congratulate our outstanding winners and catch up with friends old and new. The host has barely finished the sentence when the hall fills with the sound of scraping chairs. Shin is surrounded before she can even step down from the podium. Miss Shin, I find your new observational methods somewhat unrefined. Wasn't it a bit reckless to apply them directly to your research? Miss Shin, I'm a director at a venture capital firm regarding the new species you've observed. Perhaps we could discuss its commercial value and development roadmap. They circle her like sharks drawn to blood, hoping to profit from her work. Shin simply offers a placid smile as she handles the deluge of questions and propositions like a sea creature adjusting its breathing as it navigates ocean currents. Please, everyone, one at a time. I'm only human after all. I can't answer your questions all at once, and we're holding up the staff here. Why don't we continue our discussion in the banquet hall? She leads the group towards the hall like a leviathan guiding a school of fish. Perhaps in these murkier waters she can find the prey she's truly hunting for. Miss Shin, I don't know if you remember me. We worked together on a project in an elective course at university. Of course I do. You had a keen eye for anomalous data. I was very impressed. I've read a few of your papers as well. Your research direction is quite novel. Huh, I wish the people who call my research unfounded speculations could hear you say that. Well, in that case, perhaps you'd be interested in funding my research on subtropical benthic organisms. I just need money. Of all the pursuits, that's got to be the most unexciting. Shin's silence seems to put him under immense pressure. He grows anxious, stammering out a defense. I didn't inflate the numbers. It's a little high, but that's because I won't be on the ship myself. I'll have to hire extra hands to make sure the crew doesn't cut corners. I've no choice. It's so dangerous these days. Nothing's more valuable than human life. So, not just greed, but fear. He's afraid of the sea, afraid to witness its inexplicable transformations. He thinks that by hiding on shore, he can ensure everything still has meaning. Yes, I understand. People, especially talented, elite professionals, are our most important assets, of course. The tone is gentle, her smile unchanged, but beneath the calm surface, pity and contempt for the coward churn like a violent undertow. I really like the Mirage music. So chill, but also kind of ominous. Is that a wild pantsu? Hello. I'm back to reading story. Back to reading. And Pantsu's back to dabbing, of course, of course. We meet again, Miss Shin. You never cease to amaze us with your productivity. But have you considered that it might be time to pivot? To focus your work on something a bit more practical? The man wears a smile as garish as the sea anemone. The smile widens at Shin's silence, his lips parting to reveal fine, sharp teeth. What we need right now are things we can use, results we can market and monetize, drugs, materials, perhaps even mutations with anti-aging properties for skincare. The academia has made enough discoveries. What we lack are exceptional researchers who can identify the useful variations. After all, whether it's mutation or evolution, something, the only thing that matters is its use to humankind. Isn't that right? Not paying your taxes. Wouldn't that be nice? Not paying taxes. Useful to humankind, but humanity is so much more cowardly and stagnant than the marine life that embraces change. Do humans really have the authority, the right to hold and exploit the ocean's creatures for their own gain? But none of this misgiving or disgust shows on her face. They remain buried in the deep dark currents of her thoughts. You have a point. My funding comes from grants and sponsors. As an established researcher, I must consider which outcomes will yield sufficient returns. That is the foundation of any sustainable research program. The progress otherwise by reading. You're calling me a nerd? Come on. But yes, Orphan of Cause is down. That means there's actually a chance of me beating Bloodborne before I can start Silksong next week. Yeah. I believe I'm gonna play Bloodborne all Monday. I will finish it. Surely it's not gonna take me the whole day to finish one boss. Right? Right? No. Based? Thanks. And Monday? When does Silksong drop? Is it Tuesday or when's? Oh, it's Thursday. Okay, if I beat Bloodborne on Monday, then I still have like 2 days afterwards where I could do the tier list on stream. I could make the monster tier list for Bloodborne. I can do all of that before I get to play Silksong, yes. Hello, Rino-san. I'm back to reading. How excited am I for Bloodborne? Hang on next. Update. Wait, what? Bloodborne or Silk Song? Make a tier list as a YouTuber. I mean, maybe I'll clip it or something. I mean, the VOD's gonna be up anyways. If I'll just make like a live that is literally just like. I mean, I could edit it as well, but like. I am not Silk Song. Yeah, okay. I was about to say. I am very excited for Silk Song, and monsters. Yes, I'm gonna make a monster tier list for the Bloodborne enemies, Bloodborne boss fights. Monsters. You'll edit it? Okay, bet. I'll try to be extra freaky. So we'll have good content for an edit. Yeah, I'm quite excited for Silk Song. Blushed emoji. Yeah, not the usual. I'll try be sussy. Well, I mean, considering I'm gonna talk about monsters, I feel like I can't really avoid that anyways. Edit the slide, you can edit the free. Yeah, I believe in you. But yeah, for a Silk Song to write something else. Yeah, I suspected maybe you meant something else, Vinosa, but I didn't know. I couldn't interpret it. Yeah, I'm probably like today. I hope I finished the text stuff of this Path to Nowhere stuff. I can read all of that, and then hopefully on Saturday, tomorrow evening, I might make like a bug Sona, like a Hollow Knight Sona, because on one hand I'm like, yeah, I could technically stream Silk Song with this model, but I don't know, I'm not feeling it. Like, I want to be immersed in... Hecate is so cute. She's one of the children. Such a baby. Like, there's a bunch of kids in this game, but all of them, they're confirmed kids, okay? There will never be a character in Path to Nowhere where it's like, no, they just look really young. No. No. Yeah, she's the moon. She's so sweet. She's so protective over Chief. Like, Hecate would be like, no, Chief, let me protect you. Yeah. Chief basically runs a daycare. It's very cute. Oh yeah, I might draw like a little bug interactive PNG. Because I want to be immersed when I play Silk Song. And I don't want to have to worry about being perceived, you know? I just yap and be a little bug or something. Would you still love me if I was a worm? Okay. You have a point. My funding comes from grants and sponsors. As an established researcher, I must consider which outcome will yield sufficient returns. That is the foundation of any sustainable research program. Bug Rain. Yes, that's me. I'll be a bug. What kind of bug would I be? Congratulations again, Miss Shin. The department chair said that when you return to campus, he wants to throw a special celebration for you. The whole department is thrilled. Thank you. Please thank the chair for me as well. I appreciate your kindness, but there's really no need for such a fuss. I sent the bug line while you were typing it. Oh, chat, would you still love me if I was a bug? Stick bug? You think I would be a stick bug? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, I am a tree. So I guess stick bug would make sense. The bug that tends to be a stick. What if I just do like a stick bug and when it moves, you can see my mouse, yeah. Like, it would be like this, right? And then it just goes like the little dance. When I talk, just to like meow 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 meow. That would be kind of funny. Let's see if I can do that. Let's see what kind of bug sona I come up with, I guess. Don't say that. There aren't many people like you left who actually go out to sea to do field work. The department needs you for funding applications. You are a trump card. But listen, I heard there's some lunatic going around harassing renowned scholars, asking if they're interested in an expedition to the pole. If he comes to you, don't take him seriously. Can I have a couple of lines? Stink bug meme? Yeah. The pole is just too dangerous. So what if there are discoveries to be made? You can do research in any number of safer, more familiar waters. With your talent, you can get funding anywhere. Is our research the same? Do the grandiose promises fabricated for grand proposal in human society hold the same value as the truths and insights derived from studying the real order of life? Mantis. Mantis are pretty cool. Long, sharp, and angular. I see it. But I was also thinking, what if it's like a shiny bug? There's some shiny bugs that have like green and pinkish colors in their shine. And it needs, I feel like it needs horns, right? Mantis are cool. And there would be reference in the from Hollow Knight, you know, because they have mantises in there. So then you use it as reference. That's true. There are plenty of interesting ecosystems to explore in the coastal waters. Thank you for the advice. I'll give it some more thought. Your grandfather heard you won the award. He called to say he's donating money to build you a research lab at the university. Our side of the family is finally getting recognized by the main house. Shin, you've really made us proud. Now is the perfect time. Stop running all over the world. You have a reputation now. You don't need to do that hard, dirty work out at the sea yourself. Stay here. Focus on running the lab. We can help open doors for you, introduce you to the right people. Don't worry, even if you never go to sea again, everyone will still see your worth. Worth, prestige, connections, honor. Human society cowers in its shell, timid and confined. It pales in comparison to the creatures of the ocean, who so readily embrace change and a new life. Do the values that humans champion hold any meaning at all? I understand the family's wishes, and I'm grateful. Once I wrap up my current project, I'll consider coming back to focus on working for the family. Oh, she's just like me, for real, for real. She just wants to advance. Advance to crab. And humanity is holding her back. So true, Shin, so true. The crescendo of chatter and clinking glasses begins to subside. Shin finally gets a moment to breathe. Another fruitless evening, another hollow, uninteresting day. The carrion feeders, as empty-handed as she is, are growing restless, appear close in around her again, desperate for a final gamble. Shin, I've sent you several emails, but never received a reply. This is a rare opportunity, and I wanted to speak with you in person. Miss Shin, we're a newly established academic journal, and we're wondering if you might... Miss Shin, I don't know if Captain Maud has mentioned me. My name is Joseph, and I've partnered with him a few times. Been going to sea for research for over a decade now, I heard. You're interested in the pole? Oh, I bet she wants to go to the pole. Thinking about sinners is stupid and goes where you think sometimes. Well, Rinosa, let me tell you something. If you get really deep into the game, you can always make an OC. Make an OC for Path to Nowhere. This is so every character you pull, they have a backstory, or like an extra story you can unlock, and it will tell you more about their lore. And I'm doing the extra story for Shin and also Poffy. I'm actually working on a PTN OC, but she's not ready yet. She's gorgeous though. And the fruitless evening. It must be over in PTN. Don't worry, it's always Prime Month at PTN. Because they all... Holy Gospel of Shin, yeah. This is her backstory right now. After this one, I'm gonna do the Poffy story. Poffy's cute. She's like a food enthusiast. A food influencer. A foodie, if you will. Among the swarm of vultures, this middle-aged man is unremarkable in his wrinkled suit, almost shabby. His opening words make Shin drop her practiced smile. Influencer, yeah. For the first time, she truly looks at him, into those eyes. Dark and murky, yet flickering with a faint phosphorescence, like an old scarred shark from the abyss. Wary but stubborn, a mad yet interesting light. I'm sorry, did I hear you correctly? Are you talking about the pole? Yes, the abyss between heaven and sea, the forbidden zone of the distant ocean. The unknown territory is shrouded in mist. To be frank, ever since the heyday of polar expeditions, I've always wanted to go there. To the place only the best teams could reach, the pinnacle of human science. Unfortunately, I'm no genius. Couldn't get a spot on the crew. By the time I'd beefed up my credentials, the perishing star struck. The seas grew more treacherous. People got scared. They pulled back. They forgot. I waited all this time only to end up with nothing. The abyss. Oh my god. I'm just speaking of Dark Souls. I think the other night I dreamt I was playing... Well, it could have been Dark Souls, could have been anything, but it was like a Souls game. I dreamt I was playing co-op with my sister in a Souls game. Which is really weird because for one, she would never play a game like that. And for two, we were both good at it, so that made no sense. Is this what I get for playing Bloodborne again? My brain instantly cooking a Souls stream. But I know that many scholars like you dream of seeing that place. There might be biological laws out there that transcend human understanding, miracles of life beyond our shallow imagination. His voice is steady, but his eyes quiver, as if he can barely contain his absurd longing. Someone sneers, calling him a lunatic, but Joseph doesn't flinch. His gaze is trained on Shin. He isn't betting on the opposite opinions of others, but the singular will of the young academic leader before him. She shows no weaknesses, so he must take a risky gambit to try and move her. You don't even dream that regularly? Can relate. I dream a lot, and I dream a lot of weird things. A lot of weird things. Back when I played like a lot of Bloodborne. Like when I got the game, basically. I played Bloodborne like every second day. I didn't stream. I didn't stream a lot when I did that. And I used to get Bloodborne dreams. I would just dream about Bloodborne gameplay. Yeah. Which was fun. I had fun with those dreams. I thought they were great. So you're saying you're willing to put together an expedition up to the pole, a place no one dares to go, just because you want to, because you think there might be something there? That's right. You can call me crazy, but Mission, you're a brilliant scientist with ambitions. You know better than anyone that the place no one dares to go are the ones most worth exploring. He might be a mediocre scholar, but he's certainly an exceptional salesman. At least he knows exactly what role to play, and he's selling, and who he's selling it to. Why me? Simply because I once told Captain Maud that I wanted to go to the pole to do research there. That could have just been a teenage fantasy of a girl who didn't know me better. I came to you because I need you. I want to go to a place everyone's afraid of. Most institutions are hesitant about polar expeditions. If you join, securing funding and assembling a team would be much easier. The only question left is whether you need this team. I'll handle all the tedious logistics, the funding, the crew. All you need to think about, Miss Shin, is this. Lurk. Okay. And you're lurking. Go play PTN while you lurk. Just kidding. As a researcher, do you still want to go to the pole? To study the life there? To decipher its mysteries? This is a transaction, and in a transaction you only need to consider what you stand to gain. With that, Joseph lays his cards on the table. His true purpose is clear. He'll use the allure of a polar expedition to reel Shin in, use her name to raise a team and funds, and gamble it all on a shot at fame and fortune. But Shin doesn't care about his schemes, so what if it's madness? This is what she wants, what she's been waiting for all this time. On the path to truth, if one isn't mad, how can one ever hope to glimpse things that were never meant for the human eyes? An interesting proposal. I enjoy doing business with lunatics. I look forward to this polar expedition you're organizing. I hope we can both push our limits, get what we desire, and see what you describe, a miracle of life that transcends humanity's shallow imagination. Hey. Next one. They on the pole 8 months later. The sky is gloomy, hardly what you call good weather, though mercifully the storms are as absent as the sun. The massive modern research vessel cuts through the silent waters, an unwelcome guest being scrutinized from afar. Ever since entering the polar waters, Shin and the crew haven't seen the sun once. Everyone remains on edge, constantly watching for anomalous weather. When the sun goes down, it's black. When the sun comes up, it's grey. Before we left, I never imagined the pole would be like this. I mean, it's great that we're all safe. We're safe and all. I am so antsy now that there's nothing going on. Isn't this place supposed to be terrifying? All that talk about the abyss, the forbidden zone, it's not going to be like this the whole time, is it? Please no. If I don't have anything to show for this trip, well, so much for my bonus. The sprightly young supply manager leans against the railing, tilting her head back to gaze at the sky, her body nearly folded in half. Shin, who is jotting notes on a clipboard, smiles wearily and places a hand on Emily's back to pull her up. Your actions and your thoughts are getting dangerous, Emily. Whatever you may think, the current situation works in our favor. At least we have plenty of time to adapt and work our strategies. No, I guess you're right. Even the coward down in the boiler room has gotten used to it. At least he stopped screaming about turning back every single day. Saved himself a beating too. I was this close to knocking some sense into that little twerp for getting in the way of my payday. Don't say that. We all came from different ships, and none of us have ever been to the pole before. It's natural to be afraid, but I've always believed that every one of our shipmates can overcome their own fears and doubts. Hearing this, Emily stumps her foot in frustration and grabs Shin by the thin shoulders. What are you talking about, Miss Shin? That guy didn't overcome a thing. You've forgotten what a spineless jellyfish he was at the start? Even a starfish has more backbone than him. You're the only reason he thinks he can handle this job, aside from our dumb luck. If you hadn't gone around talking to everyone and keeping this crew of misfits from falling apart, this ship would have fallen apart halfway here. That old geezer Joseph's got nothing on his mind but his leader title, power, money, and his name on some paper. He's a damn what's going through anyone else's head. Emily. Shin's voice rises, just a fraction, gently cutting off Emily's tirade. I know you think very highly of me, sometimes more than is warranted, and I know your family's struggling financially, that you and Joseph had disputes over the pay. But on this vessel, we're a team. We have to work together. Letting your personal feelings run wild isn't good for you, or for this ship. Emily pouts, muttering something under her breath, but she hears the care and concern in Shin's words. In the end, she nods, a blush creeping up her cheeks. I know, Miss Shin, but still, I feel most of the credit goes to you. There aren't many people on the ship who genuinely care about the expedition. After all, not everyone is as noble as you, willing to risk personal safety for science, and not everyone is like that old codger Joseph. And me, so obsessed with fame and money, we've lost our minds. Shin is amused by Emily's words. She covers her mouth with her hand, stifling a small laugh, then reaches out to smooth Emily's bangs, which have been tousled by the wind. But that's only human, Emily. If anything, I'm the selfish one who dragged all of you onto the ship just to satisfy my own desires. What are you saying, Miss Shin? Stop being so modest. If you were really as selfish as you say, you wouldn't have been able to convince everyone to come with you to find that. What did you call it? Emily stammers, pointing towards the hulking shadow of a distant glacier. Its blurry contour mirrored between the sea and the sky resembles a giant drooping eye, glancing listlessly into the distance. A miracle of life that transcends humanity's shallow imagination. Right. Whether they believed it before or not, everyone's committed now. After all, if your dream comes true, all of us will get what we want. As Emily chatters on, fantasizing about the future, Shin's gaze remains fixed on the glacier on the horizon. Her eyes gleam faintly, as if an invisible rift lurks there, leading to a secret craving. A dream. What a lovely word. But this is just my desire, and mine alone. Whatever lies ahead, I only wish I can achieve what my heart desires. Oh, a circle. Oh. Odd. A heavy muffled sound came from the port side, shattering the deathly silence. On deck the crew freezes mid-motion, as if holding this single moment in stasis could ward off whatever comes next. What was that? Don't move, I'll check. Damn it, it's an ice floe. I swear I scanned this direction and there was nothing there. The radar didn't pick up anything either. A fine grating crackle follows, scraping at their nerves and breeding fear. Just as the tension threatens to spread, a calm voice cuts through the invisible strain. The waters below are far more complex than on the surface. Situations beyond our ability to predict are inevitable. There's no need to panic. Shin, what are you doing here? Where's the leader? He's with the first mate, discussing our next move. I came to assess the situation. I thought my past experience at sea might offer a new perspective. Am I in the way? Shin's composed voice calms the two men. Their eyes are now tinged with an unspoken plea for help. Not at all, having you here is a relief, Miss Shin. Things were so quiet before. How did this happen? Perhaps the pole is never quiet. We just forget it had a temper. As if echoing her words, massive ice chunks scrape against the hull. The ship lurches as a jarring shriek, like a monstrous wail, pierces their eardrums. Perhaps something beyond human perception is brewing. What we're facing now could be just a prelude. The oceanographer steps to the railing and peers down into the inky waters. The others can't see the twist of a smile on her lips. They simply huddle behind her, drinking in the comfort her steady tone provides. We can't rely solely on our instruments anymore. I suggest to the leader that we initiate manual evasion protocols. I'll also need you to pay closer attention to any external changes while on deck. I need to scream outside my door. What the hell? Yes, ma'am. Here, what path are we doing? This way. Rain hammers the deck, pounding on their eardrums like a sluggish, inescapable percussion from beneath the waves. Curse this weather. We can't see the horizon, but to correct our course, we need at least one reference point. The GPS is drifting, and now the gyroscope is acting up. Is it magnetic interference? The leader's still trying to send someone to the crow's nest, but given how things look right now, he said if it gets worse, we'll drop anchor and stabilize the ship. Should we do it? The water's too deep. The anchor line won't hold. Not to mention all the ice flows. Silence falls, punctuated only by the expedition leader's distant yelling. Heavy darkness engulfs everything, dissolving the boundaries of sight and sound. Only Shin's contemplative presence offers the crew a glimmer of solace and hope. It could be a polar magnetic fluctuation or a gyre. Either way, we can't just sit around. Navigator, let's measure the ocean currents and wind patterns. Maybe we can use the thrusters to correct our course. The young crew members can't help but steal glances at Shin. The expedition scholar is more composed and resolute than the sailors, like a steady anchor on the shifting ice. An old captain once told me that when you're lost at sea, you should find your direction before worrying about your destination. Even the smallest bit of certainty can give us strength. I see, Miss Shin. I'll help you. This way is probably best. Shin's judgment guides the vessel through the crisis, but their respite proves to be short-lived. Soon, someone notices the icebergs on both sides closing in slowly to form a constricted passage, like the ocean narrowing its eyes. Radar shows the narrowest point between the icebergs is less than 200 meters, and they're still closing in. Quick! Calibrate distance. I have to port 50 degrees. No, too late. We're not fast enough. Engine room. More thrust. Not working? Why isn't it working? Damn it, damn it, damn it all. The first mate barks out orders, trying every possible escape maneuver. But with each command, the ship only shudders more violently, while red warning lights flash hysterically on the screens. The grinding of the ice sounds like countless tiny teeth gnawing at his heart. The first mate bites his lip, forcing himself to think, but his mind is blank, save for a single word. Run! He abruptly shoves the man beside him and stumbles towards the door. I'm getting out of here. I have to get out of here. I'm not gonna get eaten by this ice. Please calm down, sir. There's still hope. Let's hold on a little longer. A warm, steady hand closes around his wrist. Shin stands in the doorway, gazing up into his bloodshot eyes. Her piercing voice soothes his frayed nerves. Sometimes a sense of duty can blind us to the riskier options. You've done well, but now we have no choice. We can only take the most dangerous path. Shin leads the first mate to the viewpoint and points towards a barely perceptible crack in the ice ahead. She meets his incredulous stare with a look of calm, gentle resolve. 20 degrees off the bow. Full power ahead. Take us through. It's our only chance to survive. Under Shin's gaze, the first mate freezes for 2 seconds, as if spellbound before struggling to regain his composure. He murmurs, repeating her words. Full power ahead. The engines roar at a full throttle, pushed to their limits as the ship charges against the bellowing wall of ice. The icebergs scream on both sides. The whole world seems to be contracting, tearing itself apart. Then, just as the hull is about to be ripped to shreds, the bow plunges forcefully into the crevice. We made it. You were right, Miss Shin. That really was the way out. Oh, what is that? I've never seen a waveform like this. It's definitely not terrain. But it doesn't look like a living thing either. A subtly distorted waveform glides across the screen. It has no fixed shape, no clear outline. It looks like something between liquid and gas states, writhing slowly as it soundlessly slithers closer. This thing seems like it's conscious. Is it prowling around us? Days of accumulated panic and terror reach their breaking point, erupting like shattered foam throughout the control room. But Shin is completely unfazed. She even takes an involuntary step forward, gazing into the entity beyond the porthole. She can feel it. A being far beyond the bounds of human comprehension. It has no face, no form, only a darkness of constantly shifting density and will, drawn closer by the turbulent emotions of the crew. Miss Shin, don't get any closer. They'll eat you, Miss Shin. No, we're done for. Don't tell me she's also... As a human, she should flee from this terrifying entity, but she can't control herself. She's certain this is the creature of consciousness, born in the polar depths, that transcends all human understanding. She needs to get closer, to see it better, to study it more carefully. But then she surveys the ragged breathing and ashen faces of the crew. They are on the verge of collapse, and she needs them for further tests. For more observations, the timing isn't right, and they are still useful. Everyone, stay calm. It doesn't appear to be hostile. Let's turn off the active sonar, fill the lights, and run on silent. Everyone, If we wait quietly, it will lose interest in us. Over this time, Shin has become the anchor. Her composure restores order to the room. Soon an indescribable warmth spreads through the cabin. I think it's gone. This confirms Shin's hypothesis, and she can't suppress the smile tugging at her lips. Fortunately, the crew are all clutching their chests in relief, and no one noticed her twisted grin. The creature craves chaos and dread. It abhors order and hope. It follows the descent of despair. Well, then she has all the bait she would need. We'll meet again. I'll make sure of it. Huh? Why is it blocked though? What did I do? I can't go back. Do I need to touch every tile? Okay. How would I do that then? Which part am I supposed to? I could go like that, but that would still leave. Maybe this way? Okay, we'll touch everything then. Okay. 1 month later. Oh. It's a rare day of calm seas, but the expedition has had too many close calls to treat this tranquility lightly, like they did on the first few days. Now they're acutely aware why the pole was called the Forbidden Zone. How did it go, Miss Shin? Any new plans? The moment Shin emerges from the makeshift conference room, Emily hurries over with urgent questions. Shin offers her a placating smile. We couldn't reach a consensus. For now, we'll stick with the original plan. It's alright, spotting one of the native species was a stroke of luck to begin with. In fieldwork, there are no guarantees. We can only try to improve our odds. I'm used to this kind of uncertainty. I see. Sorry, I'm just impatient by nature. Don't mind me, Miss Shin. I'm not trying to push you, it's just... Emily trails off, but her agitation is plain to see. Shin glances around. Several crew members are craning their necks to watch the conversation. Emily is simply the closest to her, and the most impatient. She's the first to voice the question on everyone's mind. Lately, anxiety has taken root in every member of the team. Their longing seeps out through their words, spreading like unseen fissures beneath the ice. And the one least capable of containing his emotions is... This crap supposed to be a sighting report? Did you really see that polar creature, or did you just make the whole thing up? Why didn't you get a closer look? If you want your paycheck and credentials, you better show me goddamn guts and deliver. I swear I saw it. I mean, on sonar, the thing was dangerous. That's why Shin told us to back off, to let it leave on its own. Mission this, mission that. I'm your leader. When you spotted that thing, you should have notified me, for God's sake. She's just a scientific advisor. Why are you running to her with every little thing? Joseph is infuriated when the crew member invokes Shin's authority. He sputters an exasperation, paying lip service to respecting Shin, but barely taking indirect jabs at her influence. After all, this expedition is his last shot, and he's clinging desperately to this opportunity. Everyone's getting a bit too worked up. The old geezer's really lost it, jumping on any chance to bring up old grievances. Is he talking about others or himself? He's not even trying to hide it anymore. It is my fault. I didn't realize Mr. Joseph had grown so unhappy with me. The delays in our progress must be getting to my head, too, or I wouldn't have been so oblivious to the team dynamics. How could this possibly be your fault? Stretching. Thank you. could this possibly be your fault, Miss Shin? Don't you take anything he said too hard? The man's just too desperate for fame. He's a paranoid wreck. He probably thinks you're trying to undermine his authority. The young oceanographer feigns objection, and sure enough, Emily rushes to comfort her. Emily rushes to comfort her, but Shin isn't nearly so fragile. In fact, these conflicts are the result of the negative emotion she deliberately stoked over the past few weeks. But she hadn't expected her subtle manipulations to yield such immediate results. For this most remote place on Earth, the abyss between heaven and sea truly has such a profound influence on human emotions, especially negative ones. Of course, you arrived at the inner surface of the weathered shell. Here there are no shores of order, no nets of morality, only a soft substrate, a breeding ground where new life is born. Who's there? Is that you? A voice from nowhere writhes and slithers against her eardrums, like the slimy fins of the shadows that met her gaze that night, caressing every fold of her brain. I am that which you seek to name, the void you chase, the unhedged egg in your consciousness. I know what you want, what you crave. The flower of evolution blooms only through mutual revulsion and self-dissection. It is the seed of despair, the spore split from flesh and spirit. Evolution toward a miracle of life that transcends humanity's shallow imagination. The sinful whispers gives voice to her deepest, most unspeakable desires. She feels her mind swaddled in something soft and slippery, like a mother's hand. It guides her towards the end she has sought for so long. She raises her head. Undermine his authority. I thought all I'd earned was everyone's trust. This is a terrible misunderstanding. Perhaps the crew doesn't fully appreciate all the efforts Mr. Joseph made when we were in peril. Perhaps I should explain it to them, and these misunderstandings would stop. She feels her throat and tongue move, guided by the murmur, the scourging words that sound conciliatory but are lined with venomous tendrils. Across the deck, Joseph freezes unnaturally, and unable to rein in his rage, he slams his folder onto the ground. What the hell's wrong with him? He splashed water on us. See, Miss Shin? That old geezer doesn't deserve your kindness. Let him rot. Emily's mouth twists with disgust and revulsion. Joseph's face deforms with uncontrolled resentment. The complexions are disordered with the rising tension, like the inner walls of an overfed starfish about to burst. The scene lands like a single drop of seawater in the hollow of Shin's heart. A warm briny ooze spreads through her, seeping into her parched gut. She licks her lips. A slick moistness slides across them, tasting of a sweet pelagic bliss. I knew he has an answer. Why am I so tired? What have I done? 5 days later. Risks will increase exponentially if we go deeper. I advise against it. That's the 5th time I've heard that, Miss Shin. Don't you have anything more constructive to offer? This is my assessment based on known ocean currents, temperature, and topographical changes. I believe it is the correct one, Mr. Joseph. Being correct doesn't mean a damn thing, Miss Shin. Everyone on the ship knows it's dangerous, but we have no other choice. The man slams the hastily compiled polar nautical chart, now useless, on the table. The impact scatters a stack of observation logs, the pages as pale as the crew's faces. You're the one who let it go. You're the one who said we should give chase. And now that we've made it here, you're the one who wants to quit. Enough with your correct bullshit. Is your expertise good for anything besides tell us to run away? Shin stands across the table, winning his bloodshot gaze. In just a few days, his features have been twisted by swelling emotions. His eyeballs bulge and twitch like sacs resonating with insanity, pulsating wetly like a sluggish heart. The crew, hoping Shin could overturn Joseph's decision. It looks like a silent standoff, but Shin knows very well that every word she speaks is a tendril prodding his nerves, holding his badness. Yes, just like that, more paranoid, more agitated, more delicious. I regret my expertise hasn't produced the conclusion you desire. I understand your frustration, Mr. Joseph, but it's not uncommon for an expedition to be fruitless. With the experience we've gained, perhaps next time. Next time? You're the only one here who can say that so lightly. You will have many more chances if you miss this one, but I won't, and neither will the others. You might as well drop the act and admit you don't want to see others achieve better results than you do. Gasps rippled through the room, mingling with Joseph's ragged breathing, like the forewarning before a monster hatches from its shell. Shin bows her head. Shadow veils her face, concealing her euphoric smile. He thinks he's closing in on her, but he's mistaken. She holds the strings to his fracturing will. On this ship, humans are merely vessels, carriers of the unnamed presence inside her, swelling, surging, and then overflows. That wasn't my intention, Mr. Joseph. As I've explained many times, I chose to avoid contact during the first encounter, considering the crew's condition at the time. Considering the crew's condition? What gives you the right? I am the leader of this expedition. I am the one responsible for the crew and our findings, and I say we push on until we hunt down that thing. Do you have any objections, Miss Shin? I reject. This roar fails to land with the finality he expects. It's cut short by a voice teetering on the verge of collapse. Everyone stares in shock at the dissenter, and the cabin falls into a stunned silence. You're already at our limit. Going any deeper is suicide. You've never taken the night watch. You have no idea how terrifying that thing is. If we run into another iceberg and that thing, none of us can make it out of here alive. You're gambling with all of our lives. You. Even Joseph didn't expect this meek crewman to defy him so boldly, and for a moment he's stunned. But as his gaze sweeps over the other crew, who remain silent, he suddenly realizes that their silence is an answer in itself. Shut your mouth, coward. This is an order. The leader's decision. Anyone who has a problem can get off the ship right now. You first. Throw him overboard. His growl hangs in the air. No one moves. The suffocating tension ferments in the cabin like a thick gel. Everyone holds their breath, waiting for the tipping point of this precarious balance, or the flashpoint. Everyone, calm down. In a place this dangerous, we are a team, working toward a common goal. We should be each other's protectors, not threats. What a team needs most is a clear chain of command. It needs everyone in their right place, whether it's myself or anyone else. I only offer the team leader our counsel, not objections. Mr. Joseph, you are the decision-maker for this voyage. Shin takes a step forward, placing herself between the crew and Joseph. A clear, steady voice cuts through the chaos. It seems like a concession, but in truth, she never intended to oppose him. She has waited for this moment for too long. From now on, I promise that I and the rest of the crew respect your decisions and fully assist you in achieving your research objectives. In return, let's put behind us everything that happened before, shall we? The journey ahead is full of unknown dangers. Every hand is precious. You know that as well as I do, Mr. Joseph. You wouldn't weaken our team over personal feelings, would you? Of course not. Joseph glares at Shin through gritted teeth, breathing heavily, but he doesn't lash out. Clearly, he too understands that Shin is one step ahead. He no longer controls the fate of this voyage. He has lost that power. A brief silence ensues. The crew processes the compromise. Some lower their heads. Others clench their fists with gritted teeth. Finally, they slowly begin moving to adjust the ship's course. Miss Shin, go deeper. Will we make it back alive? My family is waiting for me to send money home. She trails off, her voice skittish. When she looks up, she sees Shin's gaze on her. There's no reproach in those serene eyes, calm as the ocean, but Emily panics all the same. Oh, look at me. It's not that I don't trust you, Miss Shin. I know you'll bring us home safe. I'll help you. Anything you need, you just ask me. Easy, Emily. I understand. But we've come this far. If disaster awaits ahead, we can only face it head on. And if it's a miracle, well, that's something we'll only discover after taking the risk. Whether it's the perilous polar waters or the consequences of the crew's mounting tension, She anticipates it all with fierce eagerness, relishing the intoxicating blend of despair and danger. Outside the porthole, the grey sea stirs. A dark current writhes between the peaks of ice like a vast unopened eye. Yay. Clang. The broad blade of the fire axe lodges itself into the door, warping the metal like a monstrous tentacle trying to force its way in. The middle-aged man, panting like a cornered beast, drags the axe behind him as he slowly advances on Shin. Keep hiding, go ahead. Where else can you hide? What else are you hiding? Show me. Come on, let me see, great scholar. Mr. Joseph, calm down. You're not thinking clearly right now. Put down the weapon and let's talk. After venturing into the polar depths, the research vessel has faced constant peril until a polar storm cut off their return route. Each failed rescue attempt only compounded their plight. Equipment continues to fizzle out, almost like the ship is slowly decomposing. No one could say precisely when it started, but the feeling that permeates the cabins is no longer simple fear, but something deeper, a contagious madness, and the man drowning in pressure and desire is the first to snap. Talk? What's there to talk about? You and that warehouse girl have been scheming behind my back all this time, and now you want to talk? When did the food run out? When did our fuel run dry, huh? Were you planning to tell us after we're all dead? Joseph's outburst of fury is unleashed in human strength. His facial features are contorted, grotesquely asymmetrical, like a soft-shell crab crushed by abyssal pressure. His eyeballs roll and tremble in their sockets, almost wriggling free. Emily meant no harm. She simply made what she thought was the right call. When your mind was stretched too thin, she turned to someone better equipped to handle the situation. She trusts me, that's all. Shut up. Volcanic rage stains the man's eyes and skin crimson. He raises the axe savagely, the handle clashing against the doorframe behind him with a sharp warning screech. Trust? You think just because they went over my head to listen to you, that's trust? Why don't you go ask them? Ask how many of them blame you, the great scholar, with all your worthless knowledge. Can't even track down a new specimen. Can't even dodge a storm. You must have been enjoying yourself these last few days. You deliberately handed me the reins just to watch this, didn't you? Watch us burn through our fuel trap with nowhere to run. Watch us go insane. Well, keep watching. I'll show you how I drag you down with me right down to hell. Joseph turns toward Shin, his eyes rolling wildly in their sockets, as if possessed by a will of their own. His erratic gaze doesn't seem to hinder him from locking onto his target. He swings the axe, and the shadow of death falls over Shin. Bonk. The dull impact splits the air as Joseph crashes heavily to the ground. With two wet pops, the sudden cranial pressure expels his eyeballs from his skull. They splash into the pooling liquid below, trailing long, delicate nerve endings, like larvae finally finding the nesting ground. Don't you hurt Miss Shin. Don't touch her. Don't you dare touch her. She's gonna get us out of here alive. She's gonna make us rich. Nobody touches her. In the crumbling doorway, reeking with the sickly sweet stench of blood, Emily stands rigid as a statue, clutching a bloody crowbar with both hands. Her face is vacant, yet her arms move mechanically, pummeling what had once been a human form into shapeless pulp. Only when a chunk of something hard is knocked loose, clattering against a metal cabinet, does Emily finally snap back to her senses. She stares, stunned at the carnage before her, before letting out a piercing, terrified shriek. No, I didn't mean to. I came to my senses. My hands were already... Miss Shin, did I do something wrong? I didn't, right? I was trying to help you. Emily's face crumples with terror, her gaze desperately fixed on Shin, craving her guidance, but Shin doesn't comfort her with gentle words or stroke her hair as she used to. She simply stands there, watching the crimson spread across the floor. The experiment succeeded. She has finally glimpsed the beginning of life's mutation and evolution, not born from society and order, but from the rifts of blood and flesh, fear and impulse, struggling to metamorphose into higher forms, a miracle beyond imagination. Intense longing, hope, and goodness, when pushed beyond their limits by extreme emotion and circumstances, would erupt into such an astonishing transformation. Yes, just like that. We'll shape them, nurture, continue, and ultimately become us. Shin swallows a warm, thick fluid rising from the root of her tongue, throbbing from within, hungering fiercely for that unknowable promise. She slowly turns her head toward the girl in the doorway, her voice moist and low, softly coaxing a chosen larva, urging it to hatch from its shell. You did nothing wrong, Emily. You read the situation and made the call you had to make. You protected me and everyone else who might have been attacked. It was the right choice. She kindly steps forward, stroking the disheveled hair at the back of the sobbing girl's neck. The touch is wet and warm, like some new form of life she had anticipated taking shape in her palm. This is how life adapts and evolves. Those capable of making the right choice will draw closer and closer to a higher form of life. The blizzard is still howling outside the porthole. Frigid wind drills through the cracks in the ship's hull like clammy breath, whispering and applauding, waiting for the next larva to hatch. Oh. Do we really have to go in there? That place, no one's been in since what happened last time. It's so dark, like a hole that could suck you in. What are you afraid of? What can a hole do to us? It's better than freezing and starving to death. If the others weren't so scared, we wouldn't even be getting first dibs. Shoulders hunched and backs bent. They creep into the cabin like a pair of wriggling grubs. They crouch and rummage through the remnants of the conflict, the rustling sound eerily reminiscent of mollusks feeding. Hey, do you smell that? It's meat and fat. Meat? It's really meat. And it's so fresh, like a freshly cooked mountain goat. I need to eat meat. All traces of fear vanish from his mumble, replaced by a ravenous hunger and appetite. The sounds of chewing and swallowing fill the cabin, his senses clouded by starvation. The two have completely devolved into blind deep-sea scavengers. Miss Shin, are we really not going to stop them? Emily leans on her crowbar, asking in a worried whisper. The sweet metallic stench of raw meat doesn't bother her in the slightest. It only makes her swallow, mouth-watering from hunger. When the new leader of the ship lowers her gaze, her expression one of pity and compassion, seemingly oblivious to the change in her companion. Her shadow falls across the center of the passage, like the long, narrow pupil in a giant eye. Of course, we can stop them, Emily, but this is the choice they've made out of hunger, a choice for survival. You know our supply situation better than anyone. What could we possibly offer them to appease that craving? Perhaps? We must watch this change, feel this change. This is the end that awaits us all. What is this? Oh. I see. But it looked fun. I had to touch it. Shin and Emily arrive at the boiler room. It's the only area on the ship that still holds some heat, but with a limited space, the crew can only take turns warming themselves here. Wait, Miss Shin, don't go in. Something sounds wrong. Emily nervously pulls Shin behind her. Ever since that incident, she's remained inseparable from Shin, hyper-vigilant, her senses sharpened until she can perceive things a normal human cannot. Shin has allowed this transformation. You, get your feet back. All of you, stay away. Anyone step on the heat pipe again? Don't blame me for cracking your skull with this beauty. Huh? Don't like it? Then get out. If you don't mind turning into a popsicle. So that guy who froze to death on the second deck yesterday, that was your doing, wasn't it? What if it was? He was an idiot. Used to throw his weight around because he was big. Still, thought those fat pig hooves of his were a match for. The one timid boiler room where Worker speaks with a smug, blue. Oh my god. I can't read. The once timid boiler room worker speaks with a smug, booming voice that distorts the hot air. Halfway through, he finally realizes who's asking the question. Oh, oops. Miss Shin, Emily, what are you? Scared? Taking that guy out was your choice, wasn't it? Bragging about it to me and Miss Shin was your choice too, wasn't it? So why are you scared now? Seems you know that a bad choice only leads to one place, a dead end. Shin quietly observes Emily intimidating the crewman. The girl turns towards Shin with an air of triumph, seeking praise for her victory, but her right eye swivels a full 180 degrees, as if peering through the back of her skull, trained on the murderous glint in the crewman's eyes as he feigns submission. The next molting has begun, soon, very soon. For a brief moment, Shin's lips curl with an entranced smile. She quickly composes herself, clapping her hands to draw everyone's attention before stepping in with a pointed diplomacy. All right, everyone. All right. Everyone has their own way of thinking. I can't bind you all with rules. But before you make a choice, I hope you'll consider the consequences. Choices inevitably come with a price. Is the choice you're making really the right one for your survival? That's right, choices. We all know which choice leads to a better life. Okay. The source of heat remains, but the man who claimed it as his property is dead. His weapon has changed hands, and his neck is twisted in the wrong direction, pale bone spikes jutting through skin like a shattered egg capsule. What happened here? Nobody knows. Nobody saw. I guess maybe the wind picked up while he was getting water and he slipped. Just bad luck. Well, Miss Shin, there's no need to look into it, is there? He ended up this way because of his own choice. And it's a good thing. We have one less mouth to feed. With our supplies so low, this is the best news we could have gotten. Emily changes the subject cheerfully. Her eyelids twitch with delight, bloodshot eyeballs swiveling uncontrollably now and then, as if the thrill of the hunt has yet to fade. But we can't leave the body here. It'll spoil in the heat. We have to move it outside. You lot, get moving. I'll stay here with Miss Shin and discuss how we should adjust the rations. Rations. Words are like chunks of meat thrown into a school of piranhas. Crew swarms forward, eagerly tearing warm sinews apart as they haul the body away, steam rising in the sweltering air. Emily. The girl stares directly at Shin as if awaiting her judgment. The tiny capillaries beneath her eyeballs pulse erratically, like stretched threads threatening to snap from their sockets at any moment. You're remarkable, my child. People like you, people who hold on to hope, can always make the best choices by instinct. Emily beams with joy, her body relaxing like a mollusk. A thin, clear fluid seeps from the corners of her eyes, an impatient life force struggling to break free. Ah, sin, the sweet scent of a predator's feast. Told you, should have dealt with him ages ago. Paid more than he worked. That blubber was enough to piss anyone off. Huh. Oh, while the meat's still fresh, might as well put it to good use. Stop laughing and grab your wrench. Let's get this straight. We take the best parts and split them 50-50. And keep it quiet. If anyone else finds out, our share gets smaller. The sound of footsteps recedes around the corner of the long, intestine-like corridor. Emily slips out from the shadows. Once she's certain they're gone, she hurries down the nearest stairs to rejoin Shin, who's busy with her calculations. Storm has shown signs of abating, but the situation on the ship hasn't improved in the slightest. The survivors have all accepted the new laws of survival. The price of their choice is that competition has become habit and survival a trial. Emily is no different. She chose to become stronger. Her movements grew lighter, her body more agile, her judgment more decisive, like she's turned into some new creature. Two more are plotting something, but that's not bad news, is it, Miss Shin? Whichever one of them survives will have more supplies. It could buy us another 2 days, maybe? 3? Yes. She no longer bothers to hide her smile, because the same smile is plastered brazenly on Emily's face. A corrosive desire, like saliva and stomach acid, enshrouds and fills the ship, making such smiles perfectly natural. Others are prey, others are nourishment, others are your stepping stones to ascension. The boiler has long been turned down to a bare minimum, but a crackling fire still fills the room with a pleasant warmth. Emily props her chin on her hand, poking at a questionable cut of red meat skewered over the flames. She glances at Shin, seated beside her. So, I guess we made it through, Miss Shin. We weren't hit by any big waves yesterday. That's the first time since the storm started. Yes, I just checked the fish finder and got a reading right away. The native marine life is getting active again. Chances of another major disaster are pretty slim for now. But the good news, some of Emily's old carefree self returns. She tears at the sinew, I don't know, sinew, on her piece of meat with practiced ease. The soft dripping sounds resemble the gentle chewing of rustling mandibles. We've enough meat for another week, and water too. We just need to hold out for a little longer. Rescue will come for us, right, Miss Shin? Of course. We've overcome all these hardships and made it this far. Next, we just need to come up with a story to explain how we managed to pull through. Shin stares unblinkingly at Emily, her pupils as dark as the abyss they haven't dared look upon for a while. Beneath the gentle, steady surface of the gaze lurks a rapturous, loving craze. You must have heard those stories from old sailors, Emily. When a ship is trapped in a storm, only one person makes it back alive to tell the tale. Stories like that. I've heard them. Never thought I'd be the one telling it, though. Good thing we're not like those stories. There are two of us, and we can help each other. We even write a report about the creature that ate everyone. Ate everyone? Yes. We can even speculate how it evolved to that point. So intelligent, so massive, such unique behavioral patterns. Right? Explains everything. Come to think of it, it's almost like a godsend. Otherwise, it would be hard to explain all this. Just the two of us surviving? It's kind of... Emily shrugs with a smile, her gaze sweeping over the tattered bits of clothing scattered around the boiler room. She doesn't notice that her eyes are bulging unnaturally, neural synapses firing as they collect and process visual signals in ways no human would. You're a smart girl, Emily. You're right about everything, with one tiny exception. So she immediately spots Shin's hand, drawn from behind her back, and the gleaming blade she grips, the dagger Shin has kept strapped to her body since the day she boarded the ship. Didn't I just tell you? A storm traps a ship, the monster eats everyone, and in the end... The fire illuminates Shin's silhouette, ever so sharp and slender as she raises the blade, framed by the boiler strained with dark crimson shreds. She looks like the vertical bloodshot pupil of some colossal beast about to pounce. Only one gets to go home and tell the tale. Poof. A soft sound fills the room, like ripping the seams of a cotton doll. Emily's eyes are wide with disbelief. She opens her mouth to speak, but the moment her lips part, bright foam spills from her mouth, mixed with twitching fragments that flow onto the floor non-stop. You are the smartest child I've met on the ship, the most caring companion, and my most successful specimen. So successful that I couldn't help but wonder, for someone who can still hold on to hope in circumstances like these, what kind of despair can you release? Can you make the best choice for an organism? Her tone has never been so light-hearted, her emotions never so bare, and Emily's nearly frozen gaze, Shin drops to one knee before her, heedless of the filth, and reaches out a hand. With a wet pop, a floodgate is thrown open. Scalding steam rushes forth, swirling around Shin's dampened skirt and irradiating her flushed, excited cheeks. Why are you doing this to me? The cold drains from Emily's face, pupils dilating as she struggles to focus her eyes on Shin. Monster, you're a monster, not human. You're not human. The muscles spasm one last time, and the cotton doll goes still. Only the chalk-white gelatinous eyeball still reflects Shin's wild, ecstatic face. I am not human. I am not human. What is that? She mulls over the short line for a moment, then bursts into laughter. She looks up and glances around the empty room, as if searching for some higher being guiding her, as if nothing, or as if nothing here is worthy of a notice. So that's it. That's how it is. This explains everything. I am non-human. So I was born different from my father and mother, my teachers and professors. I am not one of those shallow creatures. That's why I could never be satisfied. The delusion is kicking. Because of the meaningless constraints of lower life forms, only here beyond the grasp of human society, and unrepressed emotions guide me to a higher place where my desire resides. Mutation? No, this is evolution, a chosen path that swallows humans could never imagine. Everything now is an explanation, the divergence from humanity, her innate sense of otherness, all of it. Shin cups her face, muttering to herself in a trance. Having never truly opened her heart to another soul, this is the first time in her life she regrets that there is no second being here to share her joy. It is the joy of deep-sea pioneers first breaking the surface, the joy of evolution's forerunners taming their new limbs. In this instant, her happiness knew no bounds, transcending her imagination as it climbs towards the unknowable sublime. Right before our eyes, Emily's body moves, with no trick of residual bioelectricity, but something happening in another dimension. Something is slowly squeezing out of her body. Shin watches in shock as the mass crawls out from the cleft, like a cell shedding its membrane, wrapped in the slimy filth from the human viscera. It swells and expands, rising, growing towards the sky in a twisted rhythm, like a mollusk writhing free from its casing. What am I supposed to see? The moment it fully emerges, an overwhelming pressure engulfs Shin, making it almost impossible to truly look at the being. She can only surrender her every sense to the phenomenon and to the memory it brings. It's you. We briefly met before met above the pole. You are what I have always been seeking, the miracle, the ultimate destination of life beyond humanity. Yet it doesn't spare her a glance and departs like a tide receding from the shore, leaving no echo behind. Shin remains motionless for a long time, staring transfixed in the direction it had gone, and suddenly she smiles. No, I was thinking too superficially. True revelation and guidance wouldn't stop at just that. I'm not human. Of course I'm not, but the real answer lies beyond the conclusion. If I am not human, then what am I? Having shed my human shell, where should I go? Lunatic, demon, monster. I am all of them and none of them. The answer is right here, my ideal form of life. Mother, thank you for the help. Chug chug. And a stretch. She throws her head back, letting out a cry that is half laugh, half sob. A fervent minded gaze, both viscous and searing. I want to become you. I too must evolve into an existence like you. It's apostle. Apostles are so interesting in this game. Like, it seems like all apostles are like a manifestation of strong human emotion. At least from what I'm getting from this. Yes, at least that's my understanding. Okay, last one for Shin, and then we can move on to Poffy. Five months later. Oh. Thank you, Miss Shin, for agreeing to this interview. It's an honor to be the first to interview you after your survival from the polar expedition. First of all, I just want to say, welcome back. Many experts said it was impossible to survive a polar storm like that. In fact, you're the sole survivor. It's nothing short of a miracle. Yes, I never thought I'd make it out alive either. To be honest, there are still moments when I think this warm, peaceful place is just a dream I'm having in the frigid cold. On camera, Shin wears a weak smile on her pallid face, her hands still trembling as they cradle a mug of hot drink, evidence that her body has yet to recover from the terrible ordeal. It was a miracle, yes, but not one granted by God. It was a miracle built on the sacrifice of my entire team. My deepest condolences. I can only imagine the physical and mental trauma you've endured in this tragedy. Yet the first thing you do upon your rescue is call this press conference to share your data and findings. The reporter's eyes hold a mix of sympathy, awe, and anticipation. She knows what they want, and she knows how she can use them for her purposes. Why are you doing this? Is it a way of mourning your team, or does it reflect your commitment to science? Shin traces the rim of the mug with a finger. The scalding liquid beads on her fingertips like a tear before dropping to the floor. During our last days at the pole, supplies were dangerously low. We had to minimize all activity. As a scholar, as the one they did everything to protect, thinking was the only thing I could do. And I kept thinking, what is the responsibility of the one who survives? All of those records, all of that data, they were brought with the lives of my team. I will not allow anyone to waste them, not even myself. So, it's less about mourning our academic pursuit and more of an obsession. I need to put this on display. I want the entire world to know what existed there, what we encountered. I won't let it fade away into nothing. As expected, having looked over the paper she published not long ago, the reporter is overcome with excitement. Her eyes grow moist and wild as she leans closer to Shin. And you did it! You really did it! The entire academia is shaken by your paper on the Apostle. It fills a gap that has existed for decades. It's a true embodiment of the scientific spirit. I know that you agreed to this interview not for any other reason, but because you want to solicit global support for your new project to track down other apostles. The reporter turns to face the camera, voice swelling with passion, enunciating every word to paint a portrait of a hero returned from the abyss. To overcome the horror of her tragic experience and for the sake of human progress, voluntarily embark on a journey back into the fray, to once again face those intelligent, non-mammalian beings shrouded in mystery. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Shin, a true researcher for our time. Thank you. But without the materials my team gave up their lives to secure, we would still be ignorant of the extraordinary biological evolution taking place in those uncharted waters. My work isn't groundbreaking, it's merely a prelude. Shin pauses as if lost in memory, or reflecting on something profound. The word materials tastes like a little sweet on her tongue. A little sticky, like the formless, unknowable shadow gently caressing the roof of her mouth. What we witnessed wasn't just an unclassified species, but a mode of existence that could shake the foundations of evolutionary theory. It challenges us with a question: is humanity's understanding of marine life and evolution really as complete as we think? What I want to say with this program is that we cannot stop at that one chance encounter. We abandon the pursuit if we stop our research. We will never know whether what we heard was an echo of evolution or a true calling. As pioneers for humanity, it is the duty of researchers like me to pursue it, to study it. It's a mirror, a doorway, a possibility of what we could become. It would change everything, even the very way we exist. The tone is measured, never rising in passion, but even the crew is captivated by her sermon. Irresistibly drawn to the future she paints, the evolution she describes, the seed has been sown. What the hell is this? Huh? Okay. Inside the temporary outpost, the desk is buried in the meteorological charts, incident files, and local newspapers. some recent, some yellowed with age. Anomalous fluctuations and sightings have been reported in these waters for a long time. All the relevant data is here. The key takeaway is that multiple independent sources have claimed to have seen a large floating mass in the same location. Be caused by regular mutant whale pod migrations, though we can't rule out an isolated mutant whale individual or even a carcass. He bends over a nautical chart, making notations. As her fingertip presses the edge, wet ink stains it a dull red. She doesn't wipe it away. Instead, she seems to be confirming some kind of mark. The maritime incident records of this area are crude. Not much to go on. We should conduct a field investigation. You just got back from the Southern Hemisphere a couple of days ago. You're going out on the investigation again? These rumors have been around for a while and we can't handle it. Or you could at least rest for a few more days. The target location isn't too far from the shore. It's fine. Besides, we've come up empty 3 times in a row. Everyone is desperate for some good news, some affirmation that our pilgrimage is on the right path, right? Shin smiles reassuringly, her tone relaxed and confident. She flips through the atlas with practiced care, like a believer turning the pages of a beloved scripture, her movements fluid, almost ritualistic. The researcher falls silent. Consider it my self-indulgence, and a kind of prayer that by walking this road myself, I may have my wish come true. Yes, here? There was a tsunami recently. The whole area is in chaos, both on land and sea. Not ideal for our investigation. We did pick up some strange radio waves before and after the tsunami, and it's hard to say what caused them. Making stuff up. I would never. The oceanographer gazes at the sea. The waters are murky and littered with debris. Debris? In such hectic conditions, neither eye nor machine can detect anything of value. But she stares in a particular direction without a shred of doubt, as if something out there is whispering to her, as if she knows in her heart that the apostle she pursues is near. Besides, the nearby witness reports are hardly credible. For instance, a tourist diving in the area claimed he heard some massive creature breathing. The Shin, that has to be an ordinary auditory hallucination, right? Hearing the Shin looks down and thumbs through a growing stack of printouts, stopping at the death toll from large capsized ships. What? She looks at the number. A symbol of disaster and a fleeting smile crosses her lips. Hallucinations are certainly possible, but we are working in a field with no rules or precedents. Common sense isn't a reliable guide. Besides, I have a hunch. What that tourist felt was a real apostle. A hunch? Right. Well, given the current conditions, it could be some time before we can verify your hypothesis, so for now we should... It's here. Shin, it really appeared. It's the same waveform you showed in your paper. It's extremely similar. The cabin erupts in commotion as people rush to the screen to get a look, but Shin remains in place, expression mysterious and content. She's experienced all this firsthand. It's not similar. It's the same breath that once whispered against her ear. I knew it. I knew you haven't abandoned me. We were never truly separated. We share a connection. I can feel you calling. I won't let this guidance go to waste. I will come to your side. Oh. Frankly, we're all amazed by the accuracy of your surveillance deployment. How did you predict that an apostle would show up in this region? Based on data analysis and inductive modeling, we cross-validated data from around the globe, ran a integration analysis, and built an she's using so many big words. Inferential framework that achieved a certain degree of a priori judgment. But no one has just ever done anything like this. A prediction this precise, a lot of people are saying it's no different from prophecy. What do you think of this claim, Shin? Radio waves carry the man's sensationalist voice to Shin. The who's participating remotely in the press conference. She doesn't let this faze her one bit, her eyes continuing to scan the report in front of her, her tone perfectly even. It's simply pattern recognition, sir. We are conducting scientific research, not a mystical ritual. Every witness said that was no mutated organism. They said it was a monster crawling out of hell. Been studying these apostles for a long time, Shin. Have you never once thought that yourself? In research, we often encounter phenomena that can't yet be explained, and that's only because our knowledge hasn't caught up. If we continue our research, perhaps one day we can not only understand and predict these creatures, but also raise and create them as well. As she speaks, her gaze is still fixed on the data, on the numbers that represent lives lost, but her eyes are full of anticipation, as if she's witnessing the birth of a miracle. To her, these cold digits and probabilities lead toward whirlpools where new possibilities are spawned. What a shocking statement, but the kind of ambition is what science needs. It seems nothing can stop you from pushing your research further. Perhaps we can expect your work to lead humanity to a new stage of life. I can only say that my life's ambitions is to fully analyze the true nature of the apostles, and then to bring the most superior parts of their life forms to humanity as a blessing for all. Shin smiles gracefully. That smile is no longer hollow. Instead, it's rapturous and satisfied, the smile of a fanatic willing to sacrifice everything as long as she possesses them for an absurd miracle. The dim yellow light casts long shadows across the desk. Outside the night is a heavy frozen curtain of deep-sea black. It is poring over a data set when she's interrupted by a timid knock at the door. She turns around. Miss Shin, a message just came in. A ship ran into some trouble at one of your monitoring points. Seems it's the ship of a corporate group that approached us before. Trouble? What sort of trouble? The tone is as calm as ever, but not out of indifference or misfortune. Rather, it's the calm of someone who has foreseen the outcome and is merely seeking confirmation. She doesn't ask what happened, but whether it happened as she expected. Seems they lost contact during a freak storm. Based on their registered ship specs, the chance of survival is extremely low. A lot of people knew about those negotiations, Miss Shin. They won't pin it on us, will they? No need to worry. Anyone who looks into this will only find that our partnership was never finalized. They chose the smaller vessel and went to the monitoring point behind my back. Those greedy people made their own choices. This has nothing to do with us, and it requires no intervention on our part unless... Shin looks up, meeting the researcher's eyes. The lamplight pools in her pupils, making them darker still, like abyssal voids beneath whirlpools, hungry to consume the fated sacrifices. Ah, yes, right. The waveforms did show signs of potential birth, one of the apostles that fits our data patterns. In that case, it is a matter of scientific interest. Perhaps it's time we prepared for a field expedition. The corners of her lips finally curled upward. She can almost see it, a thin membrane quietly tearing on a distant sea, a hidden hatchling about to slither free, a fate she designed, ready to welcome the birth she has long awaited. Oh, that outfit is so peak. Beautiful, beautiful. Stunning. People bustle in and out of the temporary camp, unloading supplies and assembling instruments in a steady stream, but no one enters the tent to interrupt Shin. She stares at an old map, its countless points and lines converging on a single coordinate, a sole possibility. Around her are the fruits of a decade of hard work. People, resources, timing, everything perfectly in place. This is her final check. Even when her dream is within reach, she doesn't allow herself to relax. Finally, it's about to begin. To come this far and stand at the starting point of evolution, how fortunate. Everyone has played their part so well. Now it's time for me to finish mine. She murmurs to herself, her lips slowly curving into a smile, like a silent, unmoving fissure in the deep, chilling to the bone, as if some alien will is soundlessly seeping out from her form. The origin of everything, the end of life, the answer to all things. Yes, we will find it. I will lead everyone to it. Oh, there's more? Maybe that's just the... Oh. The breeze lifts a corner of Shin's notebook, and she has to press the page down, behind her, behind her, crew members carrying equipment occasionally across the deck, the movements adding to the restless energy in the air. Shin, there you are. We're about ready to set off. Should we go over the details one more time? The crew's got a case of the jitters, a bit of excitement too. Figured we should tighten things up a bit. There's no need to be hard on them. This is the first time for all of us, myself included, in these unknown waters of the sea. It's only natural to be on edge. Shin's gaze sweeps over the deceptively calm surface of the sea, her quiet voice filled with emotion. This deep dive team is a new attempt in itself. My own experience might not mean much out here. In that sense, we're all equals before the sea. All that matters is that we're able to gather data and to learn. Huh, you've got a point. You educated folks sure have a way with words. Just hearing you say that makes me feel more at ease. To be honest, I was a bit nervous myself. Afraid a rough guy like me couldn't be much help to a great scientist like you. Following her example, the captain gazes out over this sea and stretches his limbs. First thing we do is deploy the collectors, right? Now that I know how to do. Makes me feel a whole lot better, knowing some jobs are pretty much the same no matter what sea you're on. That's right, our crew members are all elite professionals. I trust that you'll carry out your duties perfectly no matter the environment. That will be the cornerstone of our exploration, the engine driving our understanding of the sea. She speaks softly, her voice as gentle as the sea breeze. Without realizing it, the crew members have gathered nearby, quietly listening to her words of trust and encouragement. Well, in that case, you're definitely the rocket thruster of this deep dive team, Shin. I've been on my share of expeditions with all those stuck-up professors, and they all say you're the real deal. The burly man gives a clumsy thumbs up, drawing quite a few chuckles from the crowd. You're the one studying those apostles, right? Since you're here, does that mean we've got a good chance of running into one of those things? It's difficult to give you a definite answer. I've spent 10 years tracking this species, and I still feel like I'm only guessing, just following the trail, but I can't say that it's very likely. So she's at least 30, I would assume. Hell yeah. I mean, she was like at uni. So maybe she's like, I would assume she's like I don't know, 30 something. 34. Maybe older, 36. Over the years, I've collected so much data as I can. What? Collected as much data as I can on their movement trajectories from around the world. I found that they all seem to be converging on a single coordinate, whose location is the most probable match, so you volunteered to come here yourself? Miss Shin, I heard the apostles are dangerous, let alone in the sea. That's even more dangerous, aren't you afraid? A lively crewman cuts in. His tone is casual, almost joking, but his eyes are fixed on her. Shin scans the crowd. She knows that though only one person spoke, many are waiting for her answer. Of course I am. But fear has never stopped me. From the very first time I stepped aboard as a research vessel, I've always believed one thing. Marine life is changing at an unprecedented pace. At least 5 populations under observation are exhibiting mating and hunting behaviors that don't match our expectations. It's like they're mutating, evolving, turning into entirely new life forms. Deep-sea species, in particular ancient, isolated, and resistant to change. are the farthest removed from human perception and imagination, but our technology has been compromised by the perishing star. Established methods are no longer reliable, and the ocean grows more dangerous every day. Perhaps one day we lose our ability to explore the ocean's forbidden zones altogether. Before that happens, we should at least try to understand the nascent biological order. Maybe someday it will become humanity's lifeline. To expand horizons, build foundations, and pave the way. That is what science and research mean to me. That is my purpose and my reason for being here. A brief silence followed by thunderous applause. The first members of the deep dive team clapped their hands, their eyes shining with reverence and trust for Shin. The sound lacks order, but it has a piercing strength. Well said, Miss Shin. That's the true spirit of science, spirit of expedition. Dedicating oneself to science. I've heard plenty of people say that, but you're the only one I believe, Miss Shin. Oh, and the other big names on the expedition, I believe them too. Even an old salt like me is getting fired up. Never mind these young pups. Alright, you lot, listen up. Save that energy for where it counts for Miss Shin's sake. Our deep dive team is gonna work as one. What's the matter? Amidst the hubbub, a figure suddenly emerges from the water and climbs onto the deck, dripping water. She pulls off her helmet, letting her long, thick hair down. Her misty eyes take in the excited crowd in bewilderment. I just checked. Stay below. No danger. Are we ready? Shall we head out? Thank you for checking the conditions underwater, Pilgia. Well, since all preparations are made and spirits are high, it's time to set off. I'm certain we'll get the data and the result we're hoping for. Yeah. Everyone gets into position, ready to go. The vessel slowly pulls away from the safety of the shore and heads into the Dis Sea, but no one feels anxiety or fear. Soon, almost there. It's almost there. 10 years and now I'm finally approaching the end. The final answer. The gentle oceanographer is indeed set a course for them all into an abyss of no return, to sink into its grace and embrace and welcome transformation and rebirth. As that resonance transforms into a cold pulse, piercing every inch of her consciousness, she finally understands the future is meant to be this painful, this beautiful. Nice.
It feels like we've been apart for quite a while.
Yes. Now I should be able to see more in her profile, right? 170. November 15. That means we'll actually experience her birthday this year. Ooh. Birthplace unknown. Criminal record, I feel like there's probably a lot. Okay. I'm not too interested in her English voice lines, to be honest. Memento. Oh yeah, I bought her the thingies. This one and this one. Holy moly. I love this one. So pretty. So pretty. Okay. Let's move on to Poffy. Oh. Look, she's so cute. Oh my god. I'm gonna put her in my pocket. Cutie patootie. Little baby. I would serve her all the food she wants. Okay. Since coming to the Bureau, Poffy has been emotionally stable and positive, getting along well with the other sinners. As a result, you're not in a hurry to interrogate her. However, the cafeteria budget seems to be going crazy these days. She's a big eater, though. Oh, look at her! So cute. Wow, so this is the famous must-see spot that every sinner has to visit, the interrogation room? The lighting really sets the mood. These instruments are actually monitoring my vitals, huh? Chair, did you really install these screws yourself, Chief? The interrogation room is dimly lit, with a table separating the two of you. Sitting in her chair and swinging her legs, the young sinner girl named Poffy looks around in all directions with curiosity. This table is so cool. It feels like we could shoot a spy movie here. Oh, a camera. Can Sinner stream from here too? Hello there, I'm going on camera now. It should be the time to set aside the day's exhaustion and enjoy a peaceful dinner, yet here you are dealing with the Bureau's newest member and her relentless barrage of questions. You open Poffy's file with a resigned sigh. Whoa, this room again. 5 days ago, the Bureau received an anonymous tip. The letter was short and simple. Rumors have been circulating online that a lurking glutton has been snatching food from passerby near the entrance to Eastside Street Food Market, and the suspect is believed to be a sinner. This lurking glutton is allegedly a mukbang streamer and none other than Poffy the Glutton. After verifying the information, the Bureau staff quickly obtained her residential address. When they arrived at the door, she showed no intention of fleeing. Instead, she had already packed her bags and was waiting at the entrance. Such an enthusiastic welcome was clearly a first, as you stood there holding up your identification in bewilderment, a head wearing a brown hat poked out from the living room. You've stumbled upon an old acquaintance. Oh, not her. Oh, my chief. You're here too? What a coincidence. This girl here is one of my clients. I had no idea she was a sinner. You need her to cooperate with the investigation, right? No problem at all. I already told her the Bureau has great food and the chief there is a wonderful person. You can totally settle in there without any worries. Back in the Bureau, don't you guys always say that better care for sinners starts with all of us? She only likes eating a little too much. No need to be so hard on her, okay? We need to rattle off a bunch of sentences, leaving you no chance to interrupt. Then she turned to pat Poffy's shoulder, offering earnest advice. Though you're going to the Bureau, rent for this unit is paid annually and non-refundable, but given that we've had a sinner in this apartment, I can try to ask the landlord for a discount on the rent next year. At the time, you didn't think too hard about it, simply focusing on bringing the cooperative sinner back to the Bureau. Now it seems like you might be the one who got played. Also, this room is quite cute. It's like a loft. It's like all in one. You've got like a living room with a PC setup and a bed on the second floor and a kitchen downstairs as well. It's pretty nice. And this is probably the entrance. Maybe there's like a bathroom behind this wall. But lofts feel like they're fairly expensive. Very spacious though. And very cute. The decorations are very cute. Five days later, Nightingale stood in the chief's office, looking utterly helpless for the first time. Chief, Sinner Poffy's emotion test result came back normal. Her stats are at a stable above average level. Her social skills, cognitive function, and values all meet our standards for an ordinary person. For these 5 days, I spent most of her time in the Bureau's cafeteria, sometimes even helping the staff with cooking. She's earned unanimous praise from the kitchen crew. They post photos on social media every day with titles like "What I Was Fed Today." The posts are getting a lot of traction, and now her fans are extremely interested in what meals the Bureau serves every day. She's also getting along very well with people in the Bureau. She's already given Wynn fashion advice, discussed trendy new restaurants with Ignis, submitted 26 suggestions to the cafeteria. Doesn't that sound pretty good? Doesn't sound like there are any issues. She's lively, cheerful, and gets along well with everyone she meets. Then Nightingale reluctantly handed you a document, her expression troubled. The logistics department just filed a formal complaint. According to the statistics, The Bureau's food reserves have decreased by 37%. At this rate, our quarterly food budget will be exceeded in another 2 weeks. How does she eat that much? Having a big appetite isn't a bad thing, but eating in the Bureau out of house and home definitely is. Don't tell me she voluntarily came to the Bureau just to freeload meals. The girl sitting across from you beams with a bright smile, her fingers twining together slightly nervously. It's nearly impossible to harbor any suspicion towards that innocent face. You shake your head, pushing that ridiculous guess out of your mind. Several faces flash across your mind. Every single sinner who turned themselves into the Bureau before her has been nothing but trouble. You can't let her appearance fool you. Do you know why you were brought here? Poppy nods earnestly. So cute. Of course I know, otherwise I wouldn't have come along so willingly. This interview should have taken place on your first day at the Bureau, but given your voluntary cooperation and the special circumstances, we're only starting today. Most people would run at the sight of a Bureau agent, not pack their bags and wait at the door. Did you get tipped off, or did Luminita tell you something? Oh goodness, I'm just a small-time food streamer. How would I know anything about the Bureau? Actually, even if you hadn't come that day, I would have turned myself in anyway. Luminita should have told you that sinners here don't have the same freedom as ordinary people. Even knowing that, you still chose to come? Why? Poppy's clearly a little flustered by your serious grilling, though she manages to maintain her smile. Because my ability is just too terrifying. Don't keep me contained, and just let me live freely out there. It'll definitely make a disaster. Like snatching someone's fried chicken drumstick at Eastside busiest food market? Oh, the drumstick smelled so good. Made me feel like someone was having a percussion session with chicken drumsticks inside my head. I was so hungry. I was about to lose my mind. I just couldn't resist. Quite a creative metaphor. You studied the girl smiling sweetly across from you, trying to read into her expression, but quickly give up. She seems genuine and friendly enough. No wonder everyone at the Bureau likes her. But you still believe that, as a food streamer who's signed with MCN, Poffy should be able to support herself financially. The voluntary arrival at the Bureau and ready confession to her crimes suggest her motives go deeper than simply mooching for free meals. I've encountered many sinners, more than your age in years. What? Among them, quite a few indeed possess abilities that are truly terrifying. Compared to them, or at least the vast majority of them, your special power and the impact you can cause are relatively mild. It's nothing worthy of concern. You slide her file forward, where Danger Assessment A-Class is clearly written. Feeling her abilities questioned, Poffy puffs out her cheeks in indignation. Hey, don't say that. It can be really scary when I'm hungry. I'd look around like a starving ghost, whether it's a steamed bun in a homeless man's hand or a snack a child's munching on. No food can escape my clutches. I'll even charge into bakeries and devour every cookie the staff just finished baking. Simply put, a potentially dangerous sinner you should not overlook. If you don't detain me today, tomorrow's headline is gonna be Girl Devours City's Last Bowl of Rice. Can't help but laugh at Poppy's exaggerated threats, shrugging dismissively. Honestly, a charge like snatching snacks from people at the street food market? And no one would have even bothered to arrest you if it hadn't been for the report. I saw a girl so hungry she was seeing stars. I'd offered her food myself. Poffy is completely stunned. She stares at you blankly, her cheeks flushing bright red. Her lips move slightly, just when you expect her to muster the courage to continue arguing, her defiant spirit suddenly deflates. Can we take a little break? I've been talking for a while and I'm getting hungry. Am I allowed to eat in here? Now it's your turn to be stunned. You're prepared for another round of verbal sparring, but now you're forced to call it halt? If what she said is true, that hunger makes her go insane, then no food or drink in the interrogation room. Are you serious? Is the brewer really that strict? Poppy's face falls. She fidgets anxiously. picking and scratching at things as she tries to cope with her hunger-induced anxiety. You watch her every move closely, maintaining your stern expression as you continue questioning. Are there any other harmful effects of your special power? Scaring people by stealing their food alone isn't grounds for long-term detention. I can eat 30 rice balls in one sitting. That's only a threat to your wallet, not to anyone else. You're still young, but you should watch out for diabetes. You let out a sigh and make a show of closing your notebook. Preparing to stand up and end today's interrogation. Wait, you're not done yet. I've done quite a few bad things. I just haven't told you everything. What if you let me out and my special power goes out of control and hurts my neighbors? That would be all my fault. Poffy frantically bites her fingernails and steels herself and suddenly lowers her voice, a mischievous grin spreading across her face. Once she's starved past a certain point, the big bad Poffy will go rogue. Whether it's cupcakes or people, that all become my food. What's even more terrifying is that I don't simply become insane, I also lose all memory of what's happened during an outburst. My first mania outburst happened while we were recording a program. I chewed on a crew member's arm on the set, which not only interrupted the shooting, but also almost brought a huge publicity crisis. Though Mom paid a lot of money to scrub the video and comments back then, if you dig deep enough, you'd still be able to find some posts from that time. Poppy swallows hard, her eyes darting around her backpack filled with snacks. Second time was when I was in high school. My hunger triggered a food explosion at school. It hurt my classmates and almost got the school into a scandal. Mom pleaded with everyone and paid a huge sum to keep the press quiet, so we managed to cover that incident up. Otherwise, I would have been arrested long ago. You may not understand just from hearing about it, but seeing is believing. I can give you a demonstration. Hearing no objection from you, Poffy rummages in her bag and pulls out a bag of corn kernels, pinching one between her fingers. The loud pop, the corn kernel explodes, suddenly turning into a piece of popcorn. See, I made the kernel pop with my bare hands, and that's just 10%, no 1% of my power. See how lethal I am as a sinner? Seeing your silence, she grabs another handful of corn kernels. With a series of pops and crackles, the kernels quickly expand and fluffy white popcorn spills from her palm as the aroma fills the entire interrogation room. She frees up her other hand to grab yours, shoving all the popcorn into your palm. And mind you, I'm not even starving right now, and I can already make food explode instantly. If a mania outburst, my ability would truly scare you. You hold the still warm popcorn that continues to crackle softly, pick up a piece, and pop it into your mouth. A human microwave, huh? You can indeed sense the mania stirring more and more vigorously within her. Perhaps it's because she hasn't reached that level of hunger yet, or maybe your presence is suppressing the mania within her. But for now, she still appears to be perfectly lucid and normal. Stomach rumbles loudly in the interrogation room. Poffy looks at you with pleading eyes and swallows hard. Chief, look, the popcorn's all ready. Can't we share? I'm really so hungry. You sigh and put the popcorn back into Fluffy's hands. Poffy lets out a small cheer and starts churning, crunching away happily, her face glowing with pure bliss. Amid the gentle crunching sounds, Poppy's mood quickly settles, and the mania energy in the interrogation room gradually stabilizes as well. Your file is missing some crucial information. None of the major incidents I caused are even in there. You should investigate more thoroughly. You gently tap Poppy's file. As she said, the information in this file is incomplete. Apart from including Poppy's past, family situation, and child star experience, indeed makes no mention of the 2 incidents she spoke of. It's really as Poffy said, that her mother played the role of protector in those incidents. It's possible they would never report it to the Bureau. We plan to assign someone to investigate more thoroughly once the interrogation is finished. I'll arrange for someone to look into them, but I hope the understanding is mutual, Miss Poffy. Currently, the incidents you've caused don't meet the severity threshold for detention, but given that you've requested to be detained, if you're really facing some difficulties, the Bureau will find a way to help you. Really? Poppy's eyes flicker, seeming truly swayed by your words. She unconsciously reaches towards her backpack. At the moment her fingers touch the zipper, she pulls back and looks at you anxiously. Will you really help me? Tell the truth. Anyway, whatever it takes, you must stay in the burrow. Don't let them kick you out. Just when you think Poffy would lower her guard and spill the truth, she suddenly buckles at the knees and collapses to the floor, even positioning herself towards the camera. Ooh, you're all so mean. You think I eat too much, so you want to kick me out. But I've been helping out too. I cook lots of delicious rice and everyone praised me. What's a couple extra bites? Just let me stay. I'll do anything. I can even wash dishes. Unexpecting this turn of events, you rub your temples in exasperation. You should be cooperating with this investigation, not applying for a job at the cafeteria. We're not understaffed. This is sinner abuse. I'm going to file a complaint. I demand arbitration. I demand legal intervention. This violates the sinner's protection law. Did I just hear my cat? Am I going crazy? Is there such a law? Which provision does it violate? I don't know. Anyway, you can't just bully me like this. This is wrong. Boo-hoo. Is this part of the music that sounds like my cat? What the? As you said, the number of sinners you've encountered indeed exceeds Poffy's age and years, but you've barely met anyone with such a childish temperament. Would throw tantrums when losing an argument like Poffy. You feel ridiculous as you watch the girl crying on the floor, but you're beginning to understand something. This little foodie is probably hiding some other secret, and for some reason she can't divulge them. Alright, get up. You remain detained. For real? Can I get extra portions for dinner then? I've been in here for so long, I'm starving. Poffy's expression immediately brightens, and she nimbly scrambles up from the ground. Utterly speechless now, you scoff. This girl hasn't stopped snacking throughout the entire interrogation, and now she's still going on about being hungry. You finally understand how the cafeteria storage got cleaned out. Fine, you can have my chicken drumstick. Happy now? Oh my gosh, Chief, you're so good to me. I knew you were a nice person. Poffy patters out the interrogation room. The ears can finally have some peace. Whew. He let out a deep sigh and gathered out the snack wrappers Poffy is left behind, shoving them all into the trash can. Well, it's just one more mouth to feed. Shouldn't be a problem. The investigation needs to continue anyway. Temporary detention isn't unwise. But before the investigation is complete, I hope the Bureau's food budget can hold up and apply for additional funding in advance. The next day, Nightingale places a letter on your office desk. The staff pulled an all-nighter, conducting a detailed investigation into Poffy's background. The report will be updated soon. This letter was found in the mailbox at her front door. It hasn't been opened yet. It seems she was too eager to seek refuge with the Bureau and forgot to check her mailbox before leaving. That should be the case. Nightingale reports on some other tasks and soon leaves. Sitting at your office desk, you stare at the pristine letter with one line written on it, to Miss Poffy. Perhaps this letter can answer your questions. Why does Poffy so desperately want to stay at the Bureau, even at the cost of losing her freedom? And why does she worry so much about the potential impact of her special power? To secure a stay at the Bureau, Poffy deliberately emphasizes the dangerous nature of her abilities, her words hinting at some untold secret. However, none of the crimes she's mentioned are recorded. She decided to suspend the interrogation and conduct a more thorough investigation into her past. Something else as well. It didn't let me scroll for some reason. Okay. Okay. Oh, we can finish this easy. In the chief's office, steam rises from 2 cups of hot tea. She's so cute. Adorable. I love her outfit so much. Her design's so nice. Cute, cute. Poffy stands in front of your office desk with her head lowered, occasionally stealing guilty glances at you. Miss Poffy, this is your final warning. According to your contract, you must continue to fulfill your streaming obligations. Any breach of contract will result in serious losses to the company. In such an event, in addition to paying substantial liquidated damages, you will also bear full legal responsibility. The company reserves all rights to pursue legal actions and hold you accountable. You finish reading out the notice and look up at Poffy. Now, can you explain your reason for coming to the Bureau? Oh dear, nothing escapes you, Chief. Poffy sticks out her tongue, trying to charm her way out of trouble by acting cutesy. My admirable, kind-hearted, and merciful Chief, would you please just let this poor innocent and penniless sinner hide in here for a while? The Bureau has detained so many sinners already. What's one more, right? You wave the bill in your hand. The number of zeros trailing the figure is staggering. The paper flutters to the ground, and Poppy lunges forward to snatch it up, crumples it into a ball, and hurls it into the trash. The crying face. No, don't cry, Poffy. She doesn't get up. Instead, she wraps her arms around your leg and breaks down in heart-wrenching sobs. Chief, you've got to help me. Quit rolling around on the ground and clinging to people's legs. You reach out to help her up, but notice her body is trembling slightly. They are bad people who'll do anything for money. They would lock me up in the streaming room and make me eat all kinds of weird food, then just keep filming videos non-stop. Her words come in broken fragments, as if she's remembering something terrible. She's fighting against the memories this notice has awakened and everything she refuses to face. Seeing her distress, you finally realize this isn't some act, but a genuine cry for help. You drop your teasing tone, your voice turning serious. If you're being exploited, why not seek legal action? Poffy shakes her head rigorously. Won't work. It's not that simple. If you don't let me stay, I'll be hunted down by those debt collector thugs. Or get captured by the company again. It's horrible. Those were portions even I couldn't finish. I really can't gorge myself like that anymore. Oh. Poffy cries for a long time, until her stomach begins growling with hunger. She then asks timidly if she could get to the cafeteria to eat something, and Nolan asks Nightingale to help comfort her. After she's left, you call for Mr. Fox. What the hell? Why is this guy here? Who invited this guy? Mr. Fox jump scare. I've reviewed the contract. It's fully legally binding. Once signed, there's virtually no way to get out unscathed. From what I understand, she appears to have suffered severe psychological oppression and physical abuse. Is there really no way at all? Who do you think I am? Of course there's a way, but it's one I wouldn't recommend. Or she could fulfill her contractual obligations for now and complete her current assignments. Then we'll find a way to get her out with minimal consequences. You could pose as Miss Poffy's guardian or assistant and visit her workplace. You might uncover something useful. Mr. Fox smiles, his eyes behind his glasses narrowing into gleaming slits. This sort of thing is right up your alley, isn't it, Chief? He knows Chief is just a daycare runner. It's so true. Chief's always babysitting, pretending to be people's guardian. You pretend not to catch his teasing tone and carefully consider the plan. Finally, you let out a sigh. This is the best option we have right now. At least it's worth a shot. Oh, so cute. Early the next morning, Poffy leads you to MCN's building. Outside the fancy corporate tower, employees in immaculate business attire stride past with hurried steps, while Poffy beside you desperately tries to shrink behind your back, unwilling to be seen. Just being back here makes my stomach hurt. Poffy, can I ask you a question? Oh, sure, go ahead. You're a huge foodie. Isn't streaming yourself enjoying delicious food exactly what you'd want? That's what I thought at first, so I signed the contract, but things turned out very differently. Don't really know how to explain it, Chief. You'll see for yourself in a bit. Poppy uses her staff card to get you into the building, when the elevator takes you up to a certain floor. Oh. Haven't we seen this background before? The chaos before you is shocking. Decorations and clothes hangers are scattered across the floor, while staff members navigate through the mess with practiced ease, as if this order were perfectly routine. Who's this guy? Hey, Poffy, stop dawdling around over there. Poffy instinctively ducks behind you, but the speaker has already stridden forward and grabs her shoulder, dragging her directly towards the makeup room. Hey, what are you doing? So yeah, that so-called assistant of hers. The man gives you a cold, appraising look, then turns his attention to Poffy, his tone growing even icier. If you need something, make a proper request to the company. You can't just hire someone on a whim. How many times have I told you I'm your manager? You need to clear everything with me first. Poffy's lips twitch. She can't get a single word out. You catch her eye and signal for her to stay calm. The manager shoves her into the chair in front of the makeup station, and the makeup artists immediately swarm around her. He keeps refreshing work documents on his device while continuing to grumble about Poffy. Do you have any idea how much money you've cost the company by disappearing these past few days? But you literally told me that the company didn't give a damn about me. And now you've learned to talk back. Sure, you're useless, but still one of our products. Have you ever seen a product on a shelf just up and disappear whenever it wants? You're going to make up for every stream and sponsor you've missed. I'm booking you for both day streams and night streams. Pull an all-nighter if you have to, I don't care. I can barely stand listening to all this, but meanwhile Poffy just hangs her head as she recites the ad copy, her expression completely numb. Numb? Is that what I said? Yeah. Get ready, rolling in. Fill lights over here. Click. The massive fill lights blind your eyes, making them water reflexively. The Poffy standing directly in the glare suddenly springs to life, as if someone has just flipped her power switch on. Tucking away her earlier timidity, anxiety, she straightens her posture and instantly switches into a streamer mode with a beaming smile, greeting the audience beyond the camera professionally. Oh my goodness. Is this the background that was used in LLC? Hey everyone, long time no see. I'm chubbier? Wow, can't hide anything from you guys, can I? I've been eating well lately, indeed. She makes a hard gesture at the camera, playfully bantering with her fans before smoothly transitioning into the main topic. Ta-da! Today's mukbang challenge. Rating cursed food. Are these suspicious looking dishes actually edible? Why are they feeding her poison? The camera pulls back to reveal her streaming studio setup. Spread across the table are purple-black jellies, some fluorescent green sushi, a charcoal pudding, and fried durian. All of the dishes are naturally colored, and their strange aromas mix in the air. Well, the colors don't look too pleasant. She holds up a piece of jelly and gives it a shake for the camera, slimy texture gleaming with an ominous sheen under the studio lights. Doesn't this purple thing look like an alien brain? Chat, can I get some encouragement, please? Not the chat interaction. You glance at the stream's real-time analytics and see your views instantly rocket to #1 in the food category. Hyping up her audience. Poffy heroically swallows the jelly, her smile freezing. A crew member turns away to try a heave, while Poffy quickly recovers and continues her commentary. This tastes like the tear shed after Durin and Glow had a breakup. As for the texture, it's all gooey and sticky, like biting into a broken pencil tip. What? How's a broken pencil tip gooey and what? Hey, it's still perfectly edible. Next up is the fluorescent green sushi. It's like detergent mixed with wasabi. My mouth feels like it's just been de-cleansed. Way too intense, my stomach's screaming. Honestly, this stuff's better suited for an April Fool's prank. I wouldn't recommend actually eating it yourself. 3, 2, 1, links up. The product link appears and it sells out instantly. Poffy's eyes crinkle with delight as she laughs and makes teasing comments. I knew you guys would perk up at the mention of pranks, huh? Make my assistant try some. Oh, make my assistant try some. Poffy waves her hand dismissively, feigning a serious expression as she speaks. Nah, took me long enough to find the right assistant. I don't want to have to look for a new one so soon. You cooperatively hold up a sign pleading for mercy, and she smoothly takes the grand finale from your hands, a smoking black pudding. Last but not least, here comes our final product. This is a real treat from our sponsor. Don't miss out. Poppy takes a big bite, pauses for a few seconds, and smiles and gives a thumbs up while flashing 2 rows of now completely blackened teeth. It might look icky, but it tastes surprisingly good. Bitter richness of cocoa mingles with the sweet crunch of wafer. Underneath is tough exterior, the inside's actually soft and delicious. See, it even turns your teeth black so you can take the perfect goofy selfies. And with a few rapid taps, Poffy snaps 6 selfies with her blackened teeth. The chat is exploding with comments and likes. Next to her, you hold up the next prop. But a heaviness settles in your chest. Check the comments. The coordinator leans over to direct the messenger's attention to the screen. You move closer as well, and several harsh comments immediately catch your eye. Why did she get so fat? Has she been gorging herself? She's so fat it's making her ads less appealing. I should go on a diet so I don't end up like her. The sponsor's expression darkens considerably, and the manager quickly gives an apologetic smile. Sure, the comments aren't exactly nice, but look at the engagements. Better to be talked about than ignored, right? Sales are through the roof too. That's what really matters, isn't it? The tension eases slightly, but the manager immediately turns back to throw a stern glare at Poffy. So this is what being a food streamer is really like. Constantly pushing boundaries and even humiliating yourself for attention. So far from her original simple wish to just eat what she wanted. What a shame everyone here is long grown accustomed to this culture. No one cares anymore. No, Poffy. Rich Poffy in front of the camera. She looks like a wound-up doll. Mouth curved in, a smile when her eyes are hollow. I finally understand what she meant when she said you'll see for yourself in a bit. It seems that whatever passion you have, once it becomes work, it gets ruined a little. That's what I'm saying! That's what I'm saying, and people don't believe me. Like, I don't want to make my passion to work. I don't want to be a full-time artist. I don't want to be a full-time musician. Well, a pianist at least. I don't want to become a pianist. I don't ever want to make my hobbies into work, I guess. The 2-hour stream finally ends. 2 hours of her eating inedible stuff. 2-hour stream finally ends, and Poffy lets out a long breath like a soldier retreating from battle. She drags herself back to the dressing room with heavy steps. You offer her a handkerchief, and she manages a weak smile as she wipes her hands, exhaustion filling her eyes. The taste was, well, hard to describe, but at least I got a full meal out of it. Not wanting Not wanting you to worry, she gives her belly a playful pat, trying to keep the mood light. The next second, her manager storms over in a rage, hurling a thick stack of reports at her. Take a good look yourself. The comments were all calling you fat and ugly. Nobody even mentioned the products. Poppy frantically crouches down to pick up the scattered sheets. Her fingertips tremble so badly she can barely grasp them, eyes locked on those harsh comments. I already tried my best to promote them. The voice sounds feeble, as if defending herself against the agent, but also against herself. Tried your best. How many projects has the company set up for you? You've tried every single gimmick to get attention, and yet you're still getting crushed by that pretty girl from Hummingbird Entertainment. How many times have I told you to lose weight? People don't want to see another fat girl doing mukbang. Get any bigger and your career's over. Those words seem to trigger something buried deep within Poffy. She whips around as if struck by a bolt of lightning, rushing towards the bathroom unsteadily. Still running away? I don't know what I was thinking when I signed you. Once I'm done with my other tasks, I'll deal with you properly. It isn't until the manager gets called away by the coordinator that your ears finally have some peace. No, poor Poffy. Well, Poffy initially thinking she's just escaping from a manager's verbal abuse, but then you hear someone try heaving in the bathroom. Aww. When you arrive, Poffy keeps rinsing her hands in the basin. Even though her stomach has already been emptied, her body seems to be protesting habitually, forcing her to purge every last bit of what it deems excess. Seeing you approach, she hastily wipes her face, back of her hand, then buries her face in her palms and begins to cry with quiet, restrained sobs filled with anguish, as if she's afraid of being heard. Her sobs are so quiet, they're nearly drowned out by the running water, yet they carry a suffocating despair. It should be a happy thing to have my stomach full. Why does it cause me so much pain now? I don't want to throw up, but my body's gotten used to it. I've always been a chubby girl, and back then everyone liked me. Why does it change now? Why do I still have to lose weight, even after I run away from Mom? What am I supposed to do? I don't know anymore. Please tell me what to do, Chief. Find yourself at a loss for words. All you can do is gently pat her on the back before leading her back to the makeup room to rest. This asshole. When the manager returns and catches the unpleasant smell lingering on Poffy, he pinches his nose disgustedly. At least you've figured out how to make yourself throw it all up. We're shooting an eating contest next. We fought hard for your spot, and your opponent is a skinny celebrity with a big appetite. If you want to win, keep your stomach empty now. The only way to gain views is by winning, got it? I just threw everything up. The variety show takes hours to record. I'm insane from hunger if I have to get through the whole thing in an empty stomach. Poffy tries to explain, but the manager puts his hands on his hips and raises his voice. How many times do I have to repeat myself? We need you to control your weight. Small-time streamers like you are a dime a dozen. You're lucky I even signed you. I've given you plenty of opportunities and trained and helped you get exposure by putting you next to celebrities, and now you're getting picky with me. Each cruel word crashes down on her like a blow. Poffy hangs her head and trembles, the gnawing emptiness in her stomach pushing her to the breaking point. You can feel her mania staring. Oh, I can't go hungry. I can't control it. I'll hurt people. I'll ruin everything. The mania in Poffy is fluctuating more vigorously to the point you think that might be what's making the manager so cranky. I'm sorry for being so useless, Mom. Why can't I just lose weight? It's all my fault. I shouldn't have. Poffy, calm down. Poffy's face is shrouded in shadow, her gaze unfocused, her words becoming incoherent. Remember what Poffy said in the interrogation room. Once she's starved, past a certain point, the big bad Poffy will go rogue. Well, it's cupcakes or people that all become my food. What's even more terrifying is that I don't simply become insane. I also lose all memory of what happened during my outburst. Use shackles. Health? Thank you. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why is that so loud? That one, as always, did not even play. Alright, I'll play for you. I need to disable these stupid sound thingies. There you go. Welcome back, Mimosa. Very good job in trying to test my reflexes. Did you eat? Did you come back to play more PTN? Go on, open the game. You grab Poppy's wrist and immediately use her shackles to stabilize her mind. She jolts sharply, then comes back to her senses. Chief, she calls out to you softly. You gently stroke her head to comfort her, then turn toward the manager who is still berating Poppy. Did your parents never teach you any manners when talking to people? You. If we call this training, then talent managers are no different than livestock farmers. What did you eat? Did you have anything good? Manager lets out a cold snort. Poppy is one of the company's products, and unworthy products get replaced. That's just how the entertainment industry works. All top celebrities are incredibly self-disciplined. Push yourself hard enough and become a superstar, then you get to be choosy with jobs. Play game now, phone? I sure minimize the phone. I asked what you ate. What did you eat? You really think someone like her, who can't even control her own impulses, gets to haggle with me? Everything I do is for her own good. Everything I do is for her own good. Hearing that familiar phrase, Poffy wraps her arms around herself as if recalling some painful memories. Potatoes with fish sticks. That's... yeah, why not? It's a good combo. A classic combo. The manager leans in close to Poffy, flashing a malicious smile. Of course, you could always give up and go home as long as you can afford the price. I can sort out the paperwork for you right away. How about it? But you know full well I can't come up with that kind of money. So you're actually not that dumb, huh? Then stop wasting time and get back to work. The manager suddenly shoves Poffy hard. She bumps into you and cries out in pain. Ignoring her reaction, the manager orders you both to wait backstage before storming out and slamming the door. The room falls quiet. Poffy sits on the floor with her knees drawn up to her chest, thanking you softly, while the practiced smile still lingers at the corners of her mouth. No. Poffy. Thank you for standing up for me, Chief. You don't have to force yourself to smile. The smile slowly fades from Poffy's face. She hugs her knees tighter and buries her head in them. Rest up. You've been working non-stop all day. Even now I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed just from watching. Or, feeling upset, we can talk. You won't be able to win the contest in this state of mind. The voice is barely a whisper, soft as a feather falling to the ground. I can't talk about anything. Of course. You can chat about your hobbies, and your past, your dreams, anything you want. My dream is just to have my stomach full. Aww. My parents separated when I was very young, so I lived with Mom. She was a career woman who worked long hours and always came home late. I'd often go hungry, waiting all day for her to return. Even though we didn't have much money, Mom would gently coax me to sleep and protect me whenever Dad came to take me away. And one day a talent scout came to us and said I was cute enough to work as a child model and actor. I became the breadwinner and Mom quit her job to work as my manager. But my fame didn't last long. As soon as I hit puberty, my body changed, and so did Mom. Nabella the talent scout wanted you to stick to the slender beauty route. That way, you'll have countless modeling and commercial acting jobs lined up for you. And look at you now, your face, your arms, your legs. My God, you've become so chunky everywhere. Is this still my daughter? Did you really bite someone from the filming crew on set? Do you have any idea how hard it was to get you a spot on a variety show? You can't sing, you can't act, your body's out of shape, and you're getting older. How do you expect to survive in showbiz like this? The videos and photos of you biting someone have gone viral. Do you know what people are saying about you? That you were on drugs? That you've lost your mind? I spent a fortune hiring people to delete the posts, and I had to bribe the crews so they wouldn't press charges. Mom, I was just hungry and feeling dizzy. I couldn't hold a press conference or do a stream to explain everything. I don't care. People are only interested in catchy headlines and gossip. Now shut your mouth and go back to school for a few months until this all dies down. No. Poor baby. Have you gone mad? You're not caused me enough trouble. Too hungry so you hurt your classmates? Can't you even control yourself? Now the school wants you to drop out to contain the fallout, and you can't return to showbiz either. The way I see it, you've completely ruined your life. Enough. Mom, do you think I did those things on purpose? You hadn't left me alone at that filming location. If it wasn't for that shoot, I never would have. No one in the crew cared about me. They dumped me in a place full of corruptors. I have no idea how terrified I was. But what about you? You don't care about me either. You only care about squeezing more money out of them. Yes, I've gone mad. I'm a monster. I've haunting scars on my body that won't go away. I bite people, and when I get hungry, I lose my mind and hurt everyone around me. And I can't even remember what happened. You're the one who made me face that kind of danger alone. You're the one who turned me into a monster. Later, Mom kicked me out, saying she didn't want to see me get captured by some strange organization for research. I didn't know how to survive on my own all these years. Mom took care of everything. I barely went to school, and I was jobless and penniless. Without money, I couldn't even afford food. I had to find a job. That's when I discovered I could make money by streaming myself eating. It sounded like the perfect job. But after I signed with the company, everything changed. Now that you've signed the contract, you have to do what we tell you. You just prefer slender girls. A little chubby might be okay, but never too fat. I've seen your old photos. You've got a pretty enough face. Don't waste your potential. Poffy, your numbers have been absolutely terrible lately. Make sure you wear your waist trainer. When you're done with the stream, go throw it all up right away, got it? You need to stay nice and pretty if you want to make real money. Right, and again, East Side is only so big. Where do you think you can go? I don't care if you die from overeating today. You're still going to stream. Oh. They made me act like I was happy, and under your fake happiness, yours like girls who are chubby in a cute way. But who gets to decide what that even means? Life was hard, work was hard. I didn't understand anything. I was just barely keeping my head above water through those years. I thought I had finally escaped Mom's control. I was so overjoyed that I willingly walked into another cage. Turns out Mom's not the only person who can hold the keys to my cage. Poppy smiles bitterly. Her clenched fists tremble. It's terrifying to be on an empty stomach. Hunger feels like a nightmare shadow that keeps tightening around me, until I can't break free, until I can't even move. Even eating my fill during streams is so painful. My body wants to throw it up reflexively. I worry that the fatter I get, the more people will reject me. The bigger my fear, the harder it becomes to control my power, just like Mom and my manager said. What can I possibly achieve if I can't even control myself? I could almost see her as a small child, hungry just like now, waiting for her mother to come home. You left your mother because you were afraid of losing control of your power and hurting others, didn't you? Those are never your intentions, and you can't control those thoughts. You don't want anyone to suffer because of your hunger and fear. Fear and hunger? Anyway, so you court yourself, trying to suppress the mania in your body. You don't know what else to do, so jumping from one extreme to another becomes your way of solving problems, am I right? Poffy is silent for a moment and nods. I see. You have to teach her to listen to her own needs, not just what others demand of her and think of her. You need to help her take back control of her own life. Neither binge eating nor making yourself throw up solves the problem. It might even hurt you more. Your mania is connected to your mental state, so what you need to focus on right now is making peace with your own feelings. It's not about handing control over to someone else, holds the keys, but taking them back into your own hands. Does it make sense to you? Poffy looks completely bewildered, clearly not understanding a word. Give me your snack bag. If that's okay. Softly and reluctantly, hands over the small bag. It's been clutching to her chest. You deftly locate the pocket where she keeps her bubblegum and put a piece in her hand. Go ahead, have it. Huh? Oh, okay. She begins chewing the bubblegum. The sweet taste fills her mouth, sending signals straight to her brain. Fresh dopamine effect soothes her, gradually pushing down the negative feelings. Now, blow a bubble. Blow a bubble? You nod. And you can only stop when I say so. Poffy doesn't understand any of this, but she trusts you. First time, you only let Poffy blow out one breath. She can't seem to hold a lot of air in her lungs, so the bubble bursts before it can even form properly. Second time, you let Poffy take breaths and keep blowing continuously. The bubble grows enormous, but finally bursts with a loud pop, splattering gum all over her face. After Poffy wipes her face, then confronts you huffily. Are you messing with me? What makes you think that? The first time, you made me blow a bubble with just one breath. How is that even possible? And then you made me keep blowing and blowing until the bubble got too big and burst. Exactly. For you, that's precisely the point. Both food and your special powers are dangerous to you, and anything you can't control feels like a bubble waiting to burst, filling you with fear. When you're starving, you're like a bubble, blown with just one breath, ready to burst at any moment. And when you can't stop eating, you're like a bubble that keeps being inflated, seemingly satisfied, but when it finally pops, the one who gets hurt is really you. Hearing the word burst, Poffy nervously covers her mouth and asks you in a small voice, the bubblegum still held between her teeth. So what should I do? It sounds like maybe blowing just one breath would still be better. I'm not the one blowing the bubble, you are. I shouldn't be the one controlling the pace and pauses. It should be up to you. It's okay if you don't understand it now, you'll figure it out through practice. This time you decide when to stop. A little confused, Poffy nods and unwraps a fresh piece of bubblegum. Slowly, gently, she blows another bubble. This bubble doesn't keep growing larger, but instead moves with Poffy's breathing. Can you do that with bubblegum? I'm not a bubblegum expert. I've never tried keeping the bubble active. Gently it swells and shrinks, then swells again in a repeating cycle, maintaining a delicate balance. The girl's eyes widen as she stares at the bubble she's created. It's so small, so fragile, and yet so resilient. With each inhale and exhale, her appetite and fear seem firmly within her grasp, no longer impossible to face. I did it. Inside the studio, the shooting of this eating contest fight officially begins. I can't read. Nothing new. Poffy takes a deep breath and steps into the stage decorated to look like a restaurant. She's already ravenous, but she still has to push through the lengthy games and advertising segments. Let's give it up for our contestant, rising streamer Poffy. Say hello to everyone. Hello everyone, I'm Poffy. I'm ready and I won't let my fans down. She forces a smile, mustering what energy she can. As a lesser-known guest, she's assigned all the humiliating performances, getting splashed with water, making silly faces, and duck walking in circles, Meanwhile, the big star only needs to look pretty and smile in front of the camera. Watch Poppy with growing concern as she pants heavily, her face deathly pale from hunger, yet she stubbornly pinches her own thighs to keep her mania from clouding her mind. Not yet. Still one more segment to go. Rose brings out a bunch of products for everyone to praise in creative ways, but Poffy's gaze instantly loses focus. In her eyes, the food looks like salvation itself, and she can't help but reach for it. So hungry, I have to eat something. The mania within Poffy stirs restlessly, tempting her to surrender to her desires. But amid this turmoil, she suddenly feels a warm connection pulling her back from the precipice she is about to fall from. She instinctively looks down the stage, and amid the blurred crowd in the audience, she senses your presence with perfect clarity. Through the shackles, your spirit feels gentle yet unwavering. Try to control yourself instead of assuming I'm right and following me blindly just because I've offered a solution. Otherwise, you'll only turn me into that shadow hanging over your life after your mother and manager. Alright. Don't look at me like that. I just want you to try handling it yourself first. If you've given it your best effort and still find it too difficult, then don't hesitate to ask me for help, okay? Remember, you're not alone. Another spotlight, everyone is laughing and cheering. Only you reach out in a silent language to ask her, isolated amid it all, if she needs help. Poffy shakes her head determinedly. Chief, you've already helped me once. This time, I want to help myself. Then, breathe out. Not that hard. You can do this. She takes a few deep breaths, slowly sensing the mania within her body. With each inhale and exhale, the madness and restlessness are being soothed and guided. Then breathe out. From now on, let's be friends, okay? 1 minute, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, the mania gradually settles down. Progress is slow but steadily effective. After many deep breaths, she unclenches her tight fists, revealing crimson nail marks clearly visible on her palms. The girl finally manages a weak but resolved smile. And now, let the eating contest begin. She's made it through, on her own this time. Following Mr. Fox suggesting you pose as her guardian and assistant, accompanying her to fulfill contractual obligations. After witnessing her working conditions and learn about her past, you decide to help the girl escape her suffering and reclaim her freedom. Handing a key to someone is easy. The challenge lies in realizing that you're not the one holding it and finding a way to take it back. So one more. Poppy's so cute. After the shooting's done, instead of heading straight back to the bureau, you go to Poffy's little rented home. In that warm little apartment, filled with stuffed animals, Poffy cooks a full pot of steaming fluffy rice. Go ahead, dig in. Promise I cook the best rice ever. That's pretty much the only thing I can't cook. Just plain rice. Poffy hands you a spoon and dives into her own meal. Even though she just won the eating contest, she still seems ravenous, devouring even the plain white rice with gusto. After work feast is simply the best. I'm the happiest person in the world. The inevitable result of consuming too much rice is that you both end up in a carb coma. Poppy sits on the soft carpet in front of the couch, chattering away about what happened earlier. To be honest, I know that Mom was suffering too. She was having mental health issues, but she was too busy with me to see a doctor. Even though she kicked me out, she slipped a lot of cash in my suitcase. Enough for me to live comfortably in Eastside for years. I was stupid and got scammed by a shady rental agent, so the landlord kicked me out. When I was homeless, I met Lumi. Kind as she is, she found me a cheap place. There were even folks running around upstairs at night, so I didn't feel as scared being alone. You said folks, did you mean ghosts? Poppy ignores your shock, shoveling down a couple more spoonfuls of rice as she continues the story. Later, when the company started exploiting me, but I couldn't afford the penalty to break my contract, Lumi was the one who told me I could ask the bureau for help. And at first I was terrified that I'd get dragged off to some horrible place and locked up like in the movies. But Lumi said, "You're really kind and you definitely helped me." So true, though. She said you wouldn't leave a stray sinner out there to be bullied. She said everyone in the bureau is really nice and that I make friends with other sinners. Plus, the cafeteria has great food served with unlimited rice. So you really just came to the bureau to mooch free meals? You really are just as Lumi described. You're so kind. The kindest person I've met. Poffy beams, cupping her face in her hands. Her expression looks completely different than in the streaming studio. You see a beautiful smile that can stop people and attracts from genuine happiness radiating from within. Since you're so nice to me, I'll let you in on my secret. She turns on her streaming device and pulls up a group chat. Actually, when I first started streaming, I just wanted to share what I was eating every day. I never expected I'd end up making money out of it. My fan group only had about 10 people at first. They watched my streams every day, talked to me in voice chats, recommended restaurants for me to check out, and encouraged me to get sponsors. Later, someone from the talent agency reached out to me, so I signed with them. They started arranging my daily streaming content and the products for my mukbang videos, asked me to do gimmicky things, and signed me up for sponsorship deals I didn't even like. My numbers really did keep growing, but I couldn't tell who was real and who was fake anymore. I had no idea if they actually enjoyed watching my eating videos or they were just paid accounts. I didn't know if I could still feel genuinely happy eating all of these weird foods. I had no idea who I was even trying to impress by acting happy. Then later, my small group of OG fans got drowned out in the crowd, and I never saw them again. I've kept all the cute little fan arts they made of me, saved in a cloud album where I can look at them anytime I want. This little seal is a profile pic one of my fans drew for me. Isn't it adorable? I sewed the little seal onto my clothes, so it's like they're still with me. Oh. Poffy continues. She suddenly looks gloomy again. Oh. If they saw me eating all this gross food and giving fake praise that goes against everything I believe, they'd be so disappointed in me, wouldn't they? Poffy is no longer the girl they used to like, never coming back. After such an exhausting day, little Poffy slowly drifts off to sleep while murmuring to herself softly. She lies on the living room couch as the sky begins brightening up. In just a little while, fresh morning sunlight will pour through the windows, illuminating her sleeping face. You cover Poffy with a thin blanket, your gaze passing over that fan group with only a dozen members. The chat history shows fewer and fewer messages over time. Only Poffy's profile picture is still active. You move to a quiet corner to make a phone call. I've gathered all the evidence. We can start preparing. Sue them. Sue them. 1 month later. Oh. The kettle lets out a sharp whistle, and you quickly grab it to pour hot water into your cup noodles. 3 minutes later, slurping instant noodles, you watch Poffy's stream replay. The stream title reads, "Celebrating Poffy's 100 followers." Oh, she started anew. A month ago, soon after you made that phone call, Poffy's place, you received a reply from Mr. Fox. I've made some interesting discoveries. While they're not enough to completely destroy that MC and company, could easily use them to free that innocent girl from their grasp. Of course, she'll still need to pay a portion of the liquidated damages since she'll lose access to her account, but they'll also need to compensate Miss Poffy for emotional damages. Mr. Fox, good news brought great relief, but you didn't tell Poffy immediately. Instead, you waited until everything was nearly finalized before bringing her back to the MCN building for a meeting with the executives. Poffy didn't disappoint you. Faced with those people, she suddenly found her backbone. You're all horrible liars. I'm not the only one you've tricked into signing these contracts. I'm the only thing you're losing this time, but next time, and next time, I'll lose everything you've stolen from others with your dirty schemes. You. The manager raised arm made Poffy instinctively duck behind you, but you weren't disappointed by the show of fear. Quite the opposite, you felt deeply reassured. You see, Poffy took your advice. When you need help, just ask. You're not alone in this world. Perhaps because the weight of debt was lifted off her shoulders, the newly freed Poffy smiled exceptionally happily that day. If Mr. Fox had helped Poffy terminated her contract with MCN and gave up her account. She started a new account that was entirely her own. In her spare time, she actively participated in special power training at the Bureau while undergoing routine examinations. After the final examination report came in, Poffy qualified for home supervision and was released from the Bureau. She now only needs to check in periodically and report her location and health condition. But just thinking about the white rice party she threw in the cafeteria on the last day makes your stomach feel heavy. Knock, knock, someone knocks on the office door, and you scramble to close the replay video. He pushes open the door and bounces over to you, shoving aside your half-eaten cup of instant noodles with sausage and filling your view with 2 large bags of food. Instant noodles? That's so unhealthy. These are all treats my sponsor sent me, and I brought them especially for you. Chewy octopus legs and new desserts. I've got good news. My top fans said they want to send me a congratulatory gift for hitting 100 followers. Poffy beams with a radiant smile, her eyes sparkling as she looks at you. You avert your gaze and rub your hands together unnaturally. But too bad they'll have to pay for shipping to send the gift. I want to save my fan a few dimes, so I rushed right over after my stream ended. Poffy spreads her palm and holds it in front of you, grinning mischievously. She came begging for money? Oh, Chief is the #1 fan! So my #1 fan, where's my gift? Come on, hand it over. I thought I hid it well. You mutter under your breath and reluctantly pull out your personal device, navigating to the video gallery before handing it to Poffy. Video? Titled, A Challenge Invitation to Miss Poffy? Chief, I had no idea you knew how to edit videos. Did you actually make this yourself? Go ahead and play it. I think you'll really like it. I've been up so much I'm actually getting nervous, honestly. Poffy pats her chest lightly to manage her expectations before solemnly pressing the play button with her index finger. On-screen encouraging messages scroll by alongside familiar usernames and profile pictures. Poffy's eyes fill with tears. You found them! Oh my god. I remember this alleyway. Rahu has been here before. Yep. Then a girl she's never seen before appears on screen, holding a tiny seal ornament in her hands. The moment her voice comes through, Poffy recognizes her. Poffy? Of course I remember her. You know that little seal avatar she's been using this whole time I drew it. Isn't this so cute? Actually, Poffy and I were very different. When I see food, no matter how delicious it looks, I can't bring myself to eat it. I'm so thin. It's not attractive or healthy at all. Everyone says they envy how skinny I am, but I never have to worry about gaining weight. But deep down, I'm envious of Poffy who enjoys food so much. I could tell that after signing with a company, Poffy was being forced to diet in extreme ways to maintain her figure. I guess, right? So many times I noticed she looked really unwell, but I didn't know how to reach out to her, so I drew that little seal instead. I wanted her to see the chubby, mochi-like little seal and know that it is healthy and cute in its own way. To me, Poffy's that little seal. She has the perfect body shape as long as she's healthy. Sweet, soft Poffy. I've always adored. Oh. Poffy's mukbang videos are the only thing that stimulates my appetite. In a way, Poffy saved my life. I also remember this room. I'm not sure what story that was in. Overweight fat. Well, you see, I'm fat. I used to have really low self-esteem. I also stutter a little when I talk, so I never really had any friends. But one day I saw Poffy eating. She was so confident and she loved food, just like me. And she wasn't ashamed of it, which was really good. Because of her, I started learning to accept myself too. Poffy taught me that being fat was never something to be ashamed of. Oh my god. Just like Poffy. When I'm hungry, I start losing my temper. When it gets really bad, I even end up hurting others, but amazingly, whenever I watch Poffy's eating streams, it always helps me calm down. I keep coming back to her videos after watching so many. One day I suddenly realized I was learning to control my temper, and hunger was no longer so frightening. I came to understand that eating both too much and too little are unhealthy. It must have taken a lot of courage to terminate your contract with the company. Start a new life. I see you're trying to change for the better, so I'll keep working hard too. I hope that one day we can all confidently tell ourselves we're finally in control of our own bodies. And look how healthy and happy we are. To be honest, I still don't like my chubby appearance, but I just can't bring myself to commit to losing weight. It's just so hard. Now that I'm seeing you again, witnessing how you're starting a new life, giving me a lot of strength to improve as well. This time, I will be like you. I won't run away from my true thoughts anymore. I might never become conventionally fit, but I want to be pretty like you. Let's work hard together. I'll catch up to you soon. I agree, Poppy is pretty. Tell you the truth, when you were doing those weird mukbang streams, I posted many mean comments mocking you. I thought you were just doing that for attention. It was so lame. But you're different now, actually. No, I should say you look just like yourself when you first started streaming. For a while, I felt betrayed by you. How could you get better? You're supposed to be beaten down by society, living every day miserably, doing things you don't want to do. I quickly realized that I had never been able to accept the fact that I was sick. Thank you for helping me recognize my wrong behavior. I'm going to therapy regularly now. Congrats. I hope that one day I'll be able to formally apologize to you in the comment section. For a moment, Poffy's choked sobs. The only sound in the office. Tears dampened the screen. The video paused where the fans are giving Poffy a thumbs up. I handed some tissue thoughtfully. I'll just manage to collect a selfie, take out a handmade seal plushie and give it to Poffy. This was handmade by that fan of yours. She asked me to give it to you. Theo wanted me to tell you this. No matter how many times you change your account, they'll always follow you and watch your videos. If you ever want to chat, they'll always be there for you. They liked you in the past, and they like you now. As long as you're being yourself, they'll always be your fans, because that's the real Poffy no one else gets to define. Poffy runs her fingers over the stitches of the little sea plush. But here she just managed to stop. Begin falling again. I never thought that someday I could be a source of strength for someone else. Actually, I was worried at first that I might have made a mistake. But the new me end up disappearing, disappointing the people who liked the old me. I felt lost about that for so long. Poppy quickly goes through the entire pack of tissues. She grabs her sleeve and rubs her eyes before lifting her head to look at you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you for helping me find them. Recording these videos and bringing me their gifts, hearing their encouragement and seeing their faces have helped me accept myself more and more. Chief, you did so much for me without me knowing. Thank you for noticing my worries, helping me through my struggles, and even encouraging me to start my new account. It helped me get to where I am today. I'm gonna cry again. Poppy's tearful, emotional smile overwhelms you a little as well. You clear your throat, signaling for her to listen to what you're about to say. Those are all gifts from my fans. I haven't given you my gift yet. It's not an expensive or nostalgic gift. It's not handmade either, unless a handwritten card counts as well. I hope Miss Poffy, who's just reached 100 fans, won't despise my gift. Poffy takes the card from your hand, flips it over, and sees a line of text. Next second, she clutches the card and rushes over to hug you, crying loudly. What's going on? Chief, did something happen? Nightingale rushes through the door, looking extremely worried, only to witness the scene unfolding before her. The situation immediately spirals out of control. Chief, you're the best. Why didn't you just detain me? I don't ever want to leave anymore. I can't stray from the bureau. What? Straying from the bureau? Chief, that's against our rules. No, Nightingale, let me explain. That's not what Poffy means. Chief, I love you so much, Chief. Amid the chaos, the card slips from Poppy's hand and falls onto the desk. It's the spell to control yourself. When you feel anxious, recite it 3 times. Take a deep breath and relax. I can control my body. I can control my desire. I can calm my fears. I'm in full control of myself and I can do this. Before leaving the bureau, Poffy waves at you and mysteriously gestures for you to lean your ear closer. In fact, I set up my own arrest at the bureau. What? I had someone write you an anonymous letter and provide the leads. So the whole lurking glutton incident, well, I made it up. I never actually lost control from hunger and attacked innocent passerby. I might have slipped up once or twice in the past, but I definitely wouldn't have let it happen a 3rd time. Poppy gives a cheerful laugh and waves goodbye to you. You say nothing, watching the direction she left in, and find yourself smiling too. You open your work journal to the new evaluation you wrote sometime after Poffy resolved the contract issue with MCN. No plans, but plenty of ideas. No acting skills, but full of courage. Since she wants to believe that she can create her own new beginning and shape her own path. Then it's all good. Poffy never imagined she could empower others. The heartfelt responses from her fans helped her gain confidence, while that spell you showed her ensures she no longer feels alone when facing her fears. Aww. Cute. Such a cutie. I'm glad she helped her out of that.
Heaven and earth.
Ooh. Okay, wait though. What? Language? Oh. Is it? Oh, voiced in Chinese, is it? Where's Poffy? I need to test my theory. Girl. No, it's not. Is it Mirage voiced? No, that's not the right one. Just curious. No, I guess not. Turn it. Okay, well we did it. 3 hours, so I still have time before I need to sleep. That's good. I was worried that maybe it would take me 4 hours. Sorry, wife. Not right now. Oh, so cute. Really like her sticker as well. Just happy about her donut. But yeah, and I finished the 2 interrogations. So tomorrow probably will be like a small art stream. If I have time. I think I have time. Oh, I have time. If not, maybe someday. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But finished for now. So I will have to end stream now. Goodbye. I will be back. Maybe tomorrow. I would hope tomorrow. It would be like a very short art stream. Because I want to draw like a little Hollow Knight creature that I can use as avatar for the Nighteye Silk Song. Yes. That will be it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you. I must go now. My throat is hurting now after 3 hours of reading, so yeah. Thank you for joining though. Bye bye. Bye bye bye.